Scotty Maples says that he uncovered evidence that Knoll had sheriff's office workers help maintain his personal property while on the clock. He's also accused of fudging paperwork to give a family member who was a police officer a retirement benefit that they did not qualify for. Knoll will be in court this afternoon. The Indiana Pacers have won 2 in a row after beating the Utah Jazz Wednesday night, 134-118. Aaron Nesmith had 24 points.
I mean, like I just said, pretty much like teammates find me in the right spot, the offense that we play. It was my night. The ball was finding me, and, I just took advantage of what the defensive gave me.
The Milwaukee Bucks visit Gainbridge Fieldhouse this evening. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Yeah, Kurt, life's better on the east side. Northbound 465. Crash on the shoulder after Washington Street, and the traffic is mostly cleared out. Still a little bit slow. Back to Brookville Road. Eastbound 465 south side. Yeah, it's a crash in the construction zone, and it's after Harding Street, State Road 37. It's blocking the right lane, causing stop traffic back to the White River, almost to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
13%. Right now, you can get a 13% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $13,000 bonus right out of the gate. Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. Not only will you get a 13% bonus, you could also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. And don't forget about the 13% bonus.
And look, you'll sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn more from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. He's my retirement guy. Let him be your retirement guy. Just call 317-648-5120. That's 648-5120. This 13% bonus won't last long. 648-5120. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
It's Black Friday at B-Window. Up to 52% off, plus 10% in manufacturer rebates on all products for a limited time only. Go to bwindow.com today.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies, much cooler temperatures today. Back to average, a high of around 57 this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy and cooler temperatures, a low of 44. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
50 degrees and cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You know, I want to not like any of these people running for president, but last night, well, my heart was smitten. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob Kebs here. Ethan Hatcher from Saturday Night on the Circle in for Casey. And you know, Ethan, my default position when it comes to politicians is you're all equally bad and I reject every single one of you. But I got to say, and I know you've grown quite fond of this guy over the past several months.
Yeah.
Ramaswamy out of the gate last night said the thing, and I said, okay, you have, at least for this brief moment in time, my attention and my admiration.
He was on fire. He had several good lines throughout the debate. I thought he was energetic, focused, and he said the right things. Vivek Ramaswamy.
It was by far the best debate. And that is not surprising because they got all the people had no business being up there, Burgum and Asa and Pence and, I mean, when you had it down to whatever that was that 5 or 6 people?
It was 5 people, and I think you'll be entertained by this as well, because how funny is it that Chris freaking Christie qualified for the Miami debate, but Mike Pence could not? Because what was Christie doing there? Christie wasn't performing, but yet he made the debate stage. Mike Pence couldn't qualify.
It allowed people to talk. It allowed people to actually have points. It allowed actual back and forth, and this is the way it should have been from the beginning. These 5 or 6, if Trump wanted to participate, are the people who should have been in from the beginning, and this is why I thought it was the best run debate, because you had actual substantive back and forth, both in terms of the theater of politics, which we'll get to in a second, and actual policy positions.
Now, were you actually as shocked as I was that NBC moderators, in large part, ran a better debate than Fox News?
They did a good job.
They did a reasonably good job. And they asked some fairly competent questions. They clearly hated Vivek, but other than that, decent.
All right, so the winner last night, because let's face it, these people's policy positions for the most part aren't all that different. Like, if you take out the fact that Christie hates Trump, like if you just remove Christie's hatred of Trump from the equation, the actual policy positions, and there are nuances that are somewhat different, but by and large, on about 80% of the stuff, they're in agreement. They're in agreement on about 80% of the stuff up there. And the differences, now there is some on the Ukraine, et cetera, but you're really judging these people based on style and who they are as humans, because they're all going to tell you the same thing, that, well, we got to get spending under control, and we got to have a robust military, and we got to improve the Navy, and we got to secure the border, and all of these things you're not going to get any substantive disagreement on.
In the age of mass media, and it has become increasingly true decade by decade, starting with John F. Kennedy and now bringing us to 2023, the personality matters more than the policy positions, because it is an age of entertainment. It is an age of sound bites. It is an age of short attention spans. And if you are able to captivate the people with your personality, that is a huge part of the modern political persona.
All right, so I declared the first 4 minutes of the debate, Ramaswamy the winner. It didn't matter what happened for the rest of the debate, because he came out of the gate with this.
We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about, and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, I mean, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real, or was that Hillary Clinton made-up disinformation? Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Roberts.
Wow. This is how we get our country back.
You know, as George Costanza said, leave on a high note. He should have stopped right there, because that was
phenomenal, Rob. That was beautiful. I mean, doesn't that move the needle towards Vivek for you?
Well, look, I don't care who it is, because they're all going to let me down anyway. And by the time we vote, it isn't going to matter anyway. But that was all the stuff that needed to be said. And to say that with Ronna sitting right there in the front row, the cojones on that guy, and then she apparently lost her mind, according to multiple people, when he said that. And she tried to give him the business after the debate, and he got right down there next to her, and he wasn't having any of it. You got to give the guy a world of credit.
Yeah, sure. No, accountability is an anathema to establishment Republicans.
It's a what?
It is an anathema.
Yes, I know the word you said. What does it mean?
It is like the exact opposite.
Oh, okay,
it is repellent.
Sure.
It is repugnant to the
Absolutely.
Modern Republican
Do you know that,
political
Kev? Do you know what that
establishment.
word was? Have you ever? You're a learned man from many other countries.
That's a new one for me.
Yeah. See. Remember your audience, Ethan. All right, more from Ramaswamy. I loved this, too. He went after the Republican position on foreign policy about the neocons, and then this at the end where he goes after Nikki Haley and DeSantis for allegedly wearing lifts is just great.
But I want to be careful to avoid making the mistakes from the neocon establishment of the past. Corrupt politicians in both parties spent trillions, killed millions, made billions for themselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars that did not advance anyone's interests, adding $7 trillion to our national debt. And Joe Biden sold off our foreign policy. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first, or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case, we've got two of them on stage tonight.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
Strong. Look at Strong. I mean, the guy.
He was on fire. He was a firecracker, man. I loved Vivek's performance. By the way, I think we've been pronouncing it wrong. I think it's Vivek. Vivek like cake is how I remember that. So it was Vivek's performance.
Okay,
but
very
good. He did very well. The liners, he injected the humor. He's saying all the right things, even if he's a little light on the specifics.
That doesn't bother you? I mean, by light, you mean like he has almost no specifics.
Well, I mean, they don't give them very long to elucidate these long plans, Rob. They don't. It's hard to condense them into a 45-second slogan.
Are you getting dizzy with the spinning? Are you getting dizzy? Look, it's fine. None of these, whoever the guy is, we'll just pray for the best. It's probably going to be Trump. But before we go, I thought there was this clip from DeSantis very early on where he went at Trump, and I thought he made some fair points.
Now, if you look where we are now, it's a lot different than we were in 2016. And Donald Trump's a lot different guy than he was in 2016. He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance. He should explain why he didn't have Mexico pay for the border wall. He should explain why he racked up so much debt. He should explain why he didn't drain the swamp. And he said Republicans were going to get tired of winning. Well, we saw last night, I'm sick of Republicans losing. In Florida, I showed how it's done. 1 year ago here, we won a historic victory, including a massive landslide right here in Miami-Dade County. That's how we have to do it. So I promise you this, as the nominee, next November, I'll get the job done. And as president, I will deliver.
Your time is up. Let me turn.
And I thought that would be the argument that would resonate with people, Ethan, which was, look, every year since 2016, we have moved backwards under Trump. Aren't you tired of moving backwards? Clearly, his style, his substance, his whatever you want to call it, a collection of everything, is not winning for this party. But it does not seem that argument, no matter how obvious it is, has resonated with many, many voters.
Well, the argument hasn't, but I think it's part of it's something that we discussed earlier, which is the personality. I think DeSantis would have performed a lot better if he would have turned up the energy by about 35, maybe 45%, because he said a lot of the right things that I agreed with, but he didn't seem to have any energy or conviction behind his own statements. And you need that. You want that from convincing and effective leadership. So I think that's where DeSantis fell short. Otherwise, I would have also enjoyed if he would have circled back more frequently to his strongest talking point, which is his executive leadership in Florida, because there is a success story there. There's a lot to talk about, but I think he gets sidetracked by these other issues and cultural conversations, and then he doesn't have enough enthusiasm behind his own beliefs to sell the American people on what should be a winning platform.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Trump had his own rally last night. Of course, he was not at the debate, and you won't believe who he had as the opening act, and it went about as expected. We'll talk about it next. Ethan's in for Casey. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I alphabetized my soundboard. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. F?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, sir.
I have to go to S for Sopranos. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's so clean now. It's fantastic. Yeah, we have clearly run out of things to talk about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
It's a great world. Everything's so.
This show is stupid.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The wish you could smell this ad deal. Because if you could, you'd be smelling McDonald's fries right now. And they smell like McDonald's fries.
Smell the delicious savings for yourself with buy one, get one for $1. Choose from favorites like a McChicken, McDouble, or small fries, and get another for $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for product of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts meet you at one convenient appointment. We let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lungcancercare.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Transform your home with America's Floor Source, where style meets savings. Now for a limited time, take advantage of our exclusive 18 months interest-free financing and get your home ready for the holidays. At America's Floor Source, we make it easy to upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Visit us today for 18 months interest-free financing, and our experts will help you discover the perfect flooring solution for your home.
America's Floor Source, from our showroom to your living room.
Need a new furnace or air conditioner? Call the professionals from B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains.
Just go to B+W.com. B&W is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You all need to know that America is not sending their best and brightest, to Washington, D.C.
So Trump had his own rally in Florida last night to counter-program the Republican debate, and he had an opening act that, I don't know, it just raises some red flags for me, and the opening act went about as expected. 93 WIBC, it's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Ethan Hatcher in for Casey. I think one of the knocks on Trump is that he has alienated a lot of people, and some of the people that he has alienated that should be voting for him based on policy are people who don't see him as a serious person.
Sure.
Is that a fair assessment?
That, and I think he is enamored with star power and stardom and the appeal of fame, and he links himself to these people who are absolute stinkers, which I think we're going to talk about in this segment.
And we saw that in his administration when he put people like Omarosa. And by the way, these people it seems like they almost always bite him in the backside, that he puts these people who he gets enamored with because he knew him in business or
like his lawyers now.
It's
throwing him under the bus.
And it keeps happening. And so one of the things, if you were Trump and you were to have, let's just pretend for argument's sake here, that the 2020 election was totally on the up and up, and mass mail-in balloting in places like Pennsylvania had nothing to do with the outcome. Wouldn't you, as part of your deep dive and your comeback, wouldn't you take some stock in, hey, what are some of these little pockets that I might have lost that I should be winning, and why I didn't win these people, and what can I do to try to bring these people back in to the equation? And in the case of the people who don't view you as a serious person, I don't think he's done any of that, because these rallies remain largely more a Rolling Stones concert than a person that is expressing his deeply held political views on why he would be the best of the 330 million people to run the country.
It's par for the course with Trump. I think that was part of the problem. You come to a certain stage in your life where change does not come readily, or in some cases does not come at all. You become set in your ways. And Trump, being a gentleman in his sunset years, is of that age where it's very difficult to start altering your approach. And that, for me, was kind of the moment of Donald Trump's presidency, when he never got out of campaign mode after getting into office. He never evolved. He never changed. Donald Trump remained the same throughout the 4 years in office. And ultimately, I think that was to his detriment, because the campaign style that won him so much admiration and was so fresh and new and different in 2016 is kind of grating in 2020 or 2024.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so it's sort of like, Kev, you'll appreciate this because I know you love this show. It's almost like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I love that show.
And I know you're a fan as well. That show, for the first 4 or 5 years when it was on, was wildly popular because it was so much different. It was like this out-of-control version of Seinfeld, where the characters are wild and wacky, but Seinfeld had to play in the box of being on network television. These guys are on FX.
Yeah, it was Seinfeld on crack.
It is.
They used to advertise it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Is that
thank
how
you.
they advertised it?
And so for a while, you must view this because these people are so crazy, but then it becomes, after about season 4 or 5, okay, they're still on the air, but at some point it's become beyond ridiculous to the point where it's so unbelievable that you're just like, I know it's there, and if it's on, maybe I'll watch it, but it no longer like enthralls me. And Trump, in many ways, was like that. 2016,
Good
you
analogy.
must watch. It is politics on crack, for lack of a better term. But if you're still doing, and I think It's Always Sunny is still on the air.
Yeah, I think 15 seasons.
Yeah. But 15, 16 seasons. That's crazy.
Just like Trump is still running for president and is probably the nominee, but it doesn't enthrall the audience the way it once did. And so, to bring all this full circle, his opening act for his rally the other night was Roseanne. And look, Roseanne was a famous comedian, and she had a very successful TV show, but nobody looks at, hey, if you're serious about running the country, you're going to reach out to Roseanne to get some, kind of really good insight on, the best way to move forward with the Israeli-Hamas conflict, or how to end the Russia-Ukraine war. And yes, we're going to play you a clip, and it's free earned media, but is this really the earned media that you want?
Don't underestimate Trump. This is the same guy who endorsed Dr. Mehmet Oz for Senate. So, of course, this is the kind of person that he wants to introduce his campaign.
So Roseanne came up, and she got the crowd fired up, and it went about as you'd expect.
But I want to say right now, aren't we all tired of the deep state bullshit? I can't hear you. I want you to say it louder. Aren't we all fed up with the deep state bull?
Okay, so look, is she wrong? No.
She just needs to stop with the Ambien.
I mean, it's just like there's so many different ways you could present that same argument that would actually appeal to a broad swath of people. Like if you had somebody up there and you're playing them and they're saying, look, aren't you tired of a government that appears to be weaponizing itself against regular citizens and using the power of the federal government to harm regular people? Now you've got a group of people that maybe are willing to tune in there, maybe to hear that and go, yeah, you know what, they're right. But it's Roseanne and she's using profanity, and the people are just going to go, dude, it's just it's because Trump's going to be the nominee in all likelihood, and I want him to win because we can't have 4 more years of Biden, but it's just like, it's just the same stuff.
Okay, so I circle back to you then. Is it really so ridiculous? Because although this is clearly making you and I scratch our heads, it's Teflon Don. Nothing seems to stick. He keeps skating to success in spite of what would be enormous hurdles for any other politician.
If Donald Trump wins a year from now,
seems likely,
and if indeed, then I will say I was dead wrong on using Roseanne as a mouthpiece for the campaign. Tony Kinnett going to join us next. We'll talk about what went on election night, what the Republicans need to do nationwide to get back on their feet. Big messaging problems. They got big candidate problems. Tony Kinnett from the Kinnett Cast joins us next. 93 WIBC.
Uline is here for the hard workers. For the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Get ready, Indiana! It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Indiana, trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Party infighting. It's 51 and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. First, a traffic update, though. I-70 westbound on the west side, on the east side, is closed at the moment. Firefighters are putting out a semi that caught fire. The closure is around Midhofer Road. Things got heated again at a debate among the remaining GOP candidates for president last night. Fox's Eben Brown.
What do Republicans have to say when their candidates get nasty with one another?
Republicans fighting Republicans is not a winning strategy. And we saw this in 2022 where we lost races.
Republican National Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel speaking of the exchanges between Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. But Florida U.S. Congressman from Miami, Carlos Jimenez, says it just highlights that someone else's presence is still felt.
When it was President Trump, he was the elephant in the room that wasn't in the room. Everybody kept referring to him.
In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Israeli troops and Hamas militants battled through bombed-out buildings in Gaza City today, more than a month into the war. Meanwhile, some 80 countries and organizations have been meeting in Paris to coordinate humanitarian aid, but so far Israel is not obliging a possible 3-day ceasefire. And now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 101 points at the opening bell to 34,274. The NASDAQ up 20 to 15,407. And the S&P 500 is up 11 to 4,411. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, do you like to save big bucks?
I like big bucks. I cannot lie.
And the other brothers can't deny?
What? You know I don't have any siblings.
Well, let's just say that right now you can save big bucks on major brand tires.
I like big bucks.
And you cannot lie.
Why would I lie, Mike?
Never mind.
Stop by Tire Discounters and save up to $300 big bucks on select major brands, plus a free alignment with any 4-tire purchase.
Guy Relford here. Time again for the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show this coming weekend at the State Fairgrounds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's never been a more important time to exercise our rights as true Americans. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See the best in sporting, hunting, and personal protection gear, plus great displays of Americana. Come see us this weekend at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show, Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 9 to 4. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See you there.
24/7 ER care for kids. 24/7 peace of mind for you. Riley Children's Health emergency doctors and nurses are in the ER around the clock at IU Health North in Carmel. Learn more at rileychildrens.org/ER.
When it comes to illegal immigration, there's only one true conservative running for U.S. Senate this year. That's Trump-endorsed Jim Banks. Jim Banks has a plan, and it's simple. If you're caught in this country illegally, you're sent back to where you came from. Got that? No? Okay, well, let me repeat it. When Jim Banks is the senator, his policy on illegal immigration will be as follows. If you're in the country illegally, you're going back to where you came from. Mi casa is no longer tu casa, my friends. Jim Banks, Army veteran, Trump endorsed. A simple plan for dealing with illegal immigration. Jim Banks for U.S. Senate. American Leadership PAC is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americanleadershippac.org.
At Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, we understand that your retirement and taxes are inseparable. And if you're over 50, we're offering a special deal to kickstart your financial journey in 2024. You can have your 2023 tax return prepared and filed, including Schedules A, B, and D, for just $79.95. This can be the start of a lifelong profitable partnership with Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All our retirement planning clients will continue to receive the substantial discount for tax filing and preparation as part of our ongoing retirement marathon that focuses on protecting everything you've worked so hard to build while still providing growth to help elevate your lifestyle in retirement. Take absolute control of your retirement. Call us now at 317-288-0634, 317-288-0634, or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. Investment advisory services offered through Gradient Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Gradient Advisors, LLC, and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Well, the change was made uptown, and the big man, Joe, in the bay.
So it was a bit of a bloodbath in Indianapolis for the Republicans on Tuesday. What do we make of it? Let's go to the guy who's got some of the answers. Joining us now on the WIBC hotline, he's the host of the Tony Kinnett Cast. You can hear it weeknights, 7 to 8 p.m. here on 93 WIBC. Tony Kinnett. All right, Kinnett, I think Shreve got exactly as we expected. He didn't move the needle for anyone. It was 60-40 Hogsett, and nobody ever listens to us. I don't know why.
Again, this is the last time that, oh, wait, no, it's not. It's all of the time that you and I have to deal with this kind of nonsense. We do this every single year. The Indiana GOP puts up a candidate. We're like, wow, that's either a corporate shill or it's a nutcase. Can we just have like a normal guy who's got a plan to fix the areas in? And they're like, no. And so they run this garbage. Everyone treats it just like how we told them they were going to treat it. They don't do very well, but no, it's okay because next year, I guarantee in 2024, we'll spend another several $1 million. I don't have $1 million. Do you have $1 million, Rob?
I do not. That's because I work here.
Oh,
you'll find that out soon. You'll find that out very soon now that you have your own show.
I'm struggling to wrap my mind around how you could waste $13 million. Wasn't that the number that he wasted on this campaign?
Well, that was at the last finance report. Who knows what he put in the final month or so of the campaign? I mean, it could be 20 by the time it's all said and done. Who knows?
Gracious. Let's be kind here and say $15 million. You put $15 million in. I just can't fathom knowing you're going to lose. And I remember at the end of the show, well, I don't know, maybe he could squeak it out. Like that wasn't the stupidest thing I heard all year. We all knew he was going to lose. The guy was an idiot and ran on two issues that were bewildering for any mayor to run on and lost. I can't believe it. It's like watching a grown man fail at dunking on a little Tykes basketball goal.
Yeah, Tony Kinnett's our guest. You can hear him weeknights 7 to 8, the Tony Kinnett Cast here on 93 WIBC. This is what I don't understand, Tony, and you and I have talked about this before. We talked about it a lot on the show. These candidates, it seems like across the board, and you could say the same thing for governor, they are void of any big ideas, and what a time if you were Shreve to come out with really big, bold ideas And it's just like these Republicans are either they don't have them or they're afraid to express them. I don't know what it is, but it's like even these guys running for governor, there's just nothing for the most part that really distinguishes these people.
I'm currently talking to several of the campaigns. I am. And I've had this conversation. I had an idea for one campaign. I said, you need to put out a tweet about nuclear energy. We have coal power plants in Indiana, down on the Ohio River. You need to put out a tweet that says Indiana should be the very first state wholly powered by nuclear. And the guy talked to me on the phone and said, we're not doing that. I said, why? Why? Take a chance. Make a bold new plan that every Republican in the state is going to be a fan of. What do you have to lose? Seriously, at this point, we know you're going to lose the primary because you're not Mike Braun. So why not just go in there and throw something useful into the void? And again, it's a ready-made plan to kind of say, yeah, in the next 10 years, we're going to start making the shift to nuclear. What Republicans are going to be against that? I don't understand. Why not make a bold move instead of, well, I think that taxes should be low. Wow, Copernicus. Amazing. Any other brilliant policy ideas from the Kennedy administration?
Tony Kinnett's our guest. This is what's interesting to me because politics is really like you have to be Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. And the reason Kevin McAllister won in Home Alone is because he made Marv and Harry play on his terms. And people are going to chuckle and dismiss that. But seriously, they went into his house. They had to deal with all of his stuff. And these politicians don't make the other politicians play on their terms. In the case of Shreve, he was totally subservient to Hogshead. In the case of these guys and girls running for president, they're not forcing anybody else to respond to them other than Curtis Hill when he had the thing on the mandates that came out. And I just don't get it.
I really don't. And now you've got Suzanne Crouch, who is Shreve in ruby red lipstick, running around the state and basically telling people that she has ideas. I have yet to hear any idea from her that is original. You have Brad Chambers, who I still don't know who he is. I know he's texted me 3 times thinking that I'm my father. So your brilliant campaign strategy there, Verizon. And then you have Curtis Hill and Eric Doden, who I really want to like and I really think could do good things, but my God, they just won't campaign. And then there's Mike Braun, who I don't even think Braun knows what office he's running for. All he knows is that Trump has endorsed him, which, I don't know, man. If the last 6 years have told you anything, if Trump endorses you, I don't know if your election's going to go that well. And I'm saying that as a guy who voted for Trump twice.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that because obviously the GOP debate was last night. Look, I got to say, I think I've said this before. I think that he's strikes me as a guy that used to sell stuff out of his car in the high school parking lot. But I got to say, Ramaswamy was pretty endearing last night. And I just find most of those debates, these people, again, void of any sort of originality or character or color. And Ramaswamy brought a little bit of that to the floor last night.
I got to tell you, that was the best debate. And if you'd have told me 10 years ago that NBC would host a debate 10 times better than Fox, I would have said you were on meth. But here we were. It was a great debate. Honestly, Chris Christie and Nikki Haley got the ever-loving crap beat out of them. It was like a game of tetherball. Nikki Haley was the tetherball, and you had DeSantis and Ramaswamy on each end smacking the tetherball. It was amazing. And I think that Ramaswamy had a lot of emotion. But again, here's where the problem is in the GOP candidates. You either have the old decrepit corpse or you have the nutcase who believes that 5G causes autism. And when Ramaswamy got up there and says, it's all about the Canadian border, and yeah, I mean, foreign policy is important, and he didn't have any answer for how many ships the Navy needed to build. He didn't have any answers. He's just like, I think over the next several years, we should do things. And his answers were all very vague and like feel good, and they were said with a lot of emotion, but they had no substance. Okay. And that's Ramaswamy for me. He's the used car salesman.
Yeah. So, and look, it was another bad night for Republicans across the board. And I maintain that in the world of Trump, and I've thought about this for several days now, whether it's Ohio, Kentucky, in the world of Trump, Republicans have gotten lazy on actual elections, actually winning elections, doing the nuts and bolts things to win elections. And they've also gotten lazy on selling the policies because if you listen to Trump, there's very little actual policy discussion or intricate details of policy discussion this time around. Really wasn't much in 2020 either. And I think that has gone down the party, which is why you see these ballot initiatives, passing in Ohio and then Bashir winning in somewhere like Kentucky.
I said this on the show the other night. You actually need to have a plan with policies. The reason that Republicans lost in Ohio on abortion is not because of abortion. Guys, people know that Republicans have been pro-life for decades. It's the stupidest nonsense I've ever heard. When Republicans do not provide an alternative policy, an alternative amendment, a definitive idea of where we're going instead of just, well, we're not Democrats. Shreve ran on that. How did that work? Shreve ran on being not Hogsett. Did it work?
Is there
Does running on being not somebody work? Guess what? It doesn't.
Is there Tony Kinnett is our guest? Couple minutes left with him. Is there merit? I saw J.D. Vance, who's a senator from Ohio, put out a long statement about why he thought that disgusting pro-abortion amendment passed. And he said maybe the Republicans overplayed their hands in terms of like these heartbeat bills and kind of the similar bill we have here in Indiana. Now, we don't have the ability to let citizens just put things on the ballot like they do in Ohio. But is he right? Did Republicans in the post-Roe world move too quick and not win the people and tried to legislate the thing rather than win the hearts and minds? Is there any merit to that?
No, because no other kind of policy works that way. We're making excuses and scapegoats because Republicans can't fathom that they suck at winning elections. That's why. Republicans provided no alternative. Republicans didn't out there and go, hey, Ohioans, this is why you shouldn't vote for Proposition 1. This is where we could be going. Instead, they're just like they clutched their pearls, go, oh, you wouldn't kill a baby, would you? Which, by the way, I'm very pro-life, and I think that the amendment should have failed in Ohio, but Republicans didn't sell it. They just clutched their pearls and said, well, you're not going to support something by stinky Democrats, are you? And so people didn't go out to vote. People don't vote against things. They vote for things.
So am I way off in saying, look, even when Trump ran in 2016, he had a kind of sort of like a ragtag operation that wasn't by traditional campaign standards very well organized. He was just so dynamic that he got people on their own to kind of organize on his behalf and somehow won. But am I wrong in saying that in a Trump Republican world, the parties, like the apparatus of winning elections, whether it's ideas or actually the operations, the door knocking, et cetera, it's just not very good?
It's not very good because there's nothing new that's invigorating people. He's not moving forward. Trump hasn't actually brought new ideas forth about what he's going to bring to the presidency since his announcement speech when he said he wanted to go to Mars. He hasn't. There's been nothing new. He ran in 2016 on draining the swamp, and then he didn't. But that's a big thing that drove people to the polls. Since then, what have we driven people to the polls for other than we're not Democrats?
Do you have
what?
Before I let you go, do you have a favorite? Do you you've kind of, to your credit, I don't think really said out loud, I'm supporting so and so for president. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I do have a favorite. I don't think that he's going to win. I do like DeSantis. I think that he's run not a great campaign, and I just know that we're going to end up watching Trump lose in 2024, and I'm going to be sitting there going, we could have had this thing in the bag.
Yeah.
And this is just where we are.
What's coming up with the Tony Kinnett cast tonight?
Oh, we have got a little bit of conversation on all of the licenses that you shouldn't have to buy tonight.
Oh,
and the things
I love that.
Shouldn't be expensive.
I love that. As somebody who used to work at the professional licensing agency as the state pharmacy board director, I absolutely love this. I can't wait to hear it. It's the Tony Kinnett cast tonight, 7 o'clock on 93 WIBC. You're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Take care.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, what's the point of a debate without Trump? But is a debate with Trump coming? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Chris Brockman here from The Rich Eisen Show. And do you want even more excitement on game day? Yeah, you do. It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players. You choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you can win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and it's easy to make your picks with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals. Prize Picks is the place to play. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Watch your entry update in real time and continue the fun by making picks on the second half and fourth quarter stats. And right now, when you go to prizepicks.com/primetime, use code primetime for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or text healthy to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Life is all about enjoying the little moments. Don't miss out on them because of unexpected heart issues. At Community Health Network, you receive heart care you can trust. From simple screenings to life-saving diagnostic and interventional cardiology services, we offer it all, so you can get back to the moments that matter. Learn more about our services at ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care simply delivered.
CareSource Marketplace health plans are reliable and predictable. That's important because your life plans are not. CareSource gives you the affordable coverage and premium network to take on whatever comes your way. Emergency services, hospital care, prescriptions, and more. Our plans are simple and affordable because when your life is complicated, it's important that your health insurance is not. For affordable coverage when you need it most, visit caresource.com/marketplace. We got you.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because only the Sleep Number Climate 360 smart bed lets you each sleep up to 13 degrees cooler or warmer on either side, while you both sleep at your ideal level of firmness, comfort, and support, your Sleep Number setting. And now our all-new next-gen smart beds have temperature benefits, so you sleep better night after night. And now, during our Veterans Day sale, save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Head to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra on December 26th at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Go to WIBC.com for more info.
My words are being distorted. I can't tell you how many times in various relationships over the years I've thrown that one out. It is Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Ethan Hatcher's in for Casey. So Rashida Tlaib, you know who she is?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
She's
famously anti-Semitic.
Yes, she's a lunatic leftist U.S. rep from Michigan, a part of the squad, and she was censured by the House for her seemingly endorsement, it appeared, maybe of Hamas and saying from the river to the sea.
There we go. Endorsement of genocide.
Yeah,
there we go.
Which is seen as you said, endorsement of genocide of the Israelis. Now, where are we at on the censure? Because Merritt and I went back and forth on this yesterday. This lady is a lunatic. This lady is a crazy leftist. This lady has no business being in public office. But isn't this a conversation between her and her constituents? I mean, with all the blatant corruption and deceit and terrible behavior that goes on in the U.S. Congress, now we're censuring people. Doesn't she have the right to say it? And then it's between her and her constituents to decide whether they want.
She's not being removed from Congress.
But I mean, what a colossal waste of time, right? I mean, you've got people who are essentially doing legalized insider trading and all sorts of other crap in the U.S. Congress.
So there should be more people to be censured.
Look, I'm just saying, if we're going to start, this lady's being a moron is not the place I'd probably start with. But of course, they threw.
Look, I know there are more macaroons that need to face retribution, but I'm not upset that Rashida Tlaib got a minor smackdown.
You don't see this as a colossal waste of time and total hypocrisy?
It's a colossal waste of time. I wouldn't call it. Well, it's hypocritical too, but but they're still right.
Okay, so she was asked about this, and she is on the defensive now, and she says her words are totally being distorted.
Much of what I'm seeing is distortion of my words, also in trying to silence my residents who have been calling from the beginning of freedom from inequality, freedom from the occupation, freedom from the violence. And so it has been really difficult, I think, for me as I walk on the House floor, walking there, watching many of the colleagues that voted for this not engage me, and they know I'm ready.
As the famed poet Marshall Mathers once said, but Slim, I'm an innocent victim. I mean, it's like, come on, lady. You knew exactly. Like, it's one thing to debate whether you should be censured or not, but don't act like you didn't know what you were doing. Don't act like you didn't know what you were saying, and you're not a victim here.
Oh, she should know a thing or two about not being addressed, because she didn't address that reporter for nearly 2 full minutes, asking her to rebuke the murder of children, the rape of women, the shooting of innocents at music concerts. And she couldn't find it within herself in 2 minutes to condemn those utterly despicable actions.
One of her left-wing buddies there in the squad, Pramelia Jayapal, said she is very embarrassed that Rashida Tlaib got censured.
It is outrageous. I am embarrassed for those Democrats who voted to censure their own colleague, who voted against free speech. It is an embarrassment.
Look, that's the point I think that needs to be made.
Was she embarrassed by Jamal Bowman?
Well,
pulling the fire alarm?
Good point.
I thought it was a doorknob.
Look, it was the Democrats that put this over the top. They didn't have the votes with the Republicans. It was Democrats voting to censure her that got this thing across the finish line. Lastly,
it was with Democrats that we removed the former Speaker of the House. So bipartisanship sometimes accomplishes good things.
They want it. And last but not least, Corinne Jean-Pierre says we should be mindful of the words we use.
Is there a place in the Democratic Party for somebody who uses phrases like that?
So we've been very clear. We just said we think that we strongly disagree in using that phrase. I mean, that is coming from here, from the White House, in a very public way. It's been said by many people at the White House. So we've been very, very clear about that. I don't have any conversations to read out to you with the Congresswoman. I just don't have anything from here at this time to read out. But look, we've been very clear, very, very clear about using how it is important to be mindful about the language that we use, especially in this time, and we'll continue to speak out to that.
There's all the time things I want to say to Kevin about his performance, and then I remember, Ethan, it's important to be mindful of the words we use. Yeah, like maybe be mindful that if you're going to say from the river to the sea, maybe you ought not do that.
Don't you just love when Democrats are forced to flee from their own base and positions?
All right, when we come back, Hillary Clinton went on The View, compared Trump to Hitler. We got Trump saying it's time to end the debates. Nikki Haley's going at Trump over his spending. A lot more on the way. Ethan Hatcher's in for Casey. It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Christine said, I highly recommend this company. They did my garage floor and I absolutely love it. I'm planning on having them do my patio in the spring. Don't wait. Call them today, 317-751-9070. That's the number for Galaxy Concrete Coating. They can turn any concrete surface into a much better space. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 317-751-9070.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Binges, blackouts, regret, shame, trying and failing to drink less or quit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I know how scary drinking too much can be because I struggled with alcohol misuse for most of my adult life. But I also know that it is possible to drink less or quit. And medication can help. Naltrexone is a safe, effective medication that makes it easier to cut back or quit drinking, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. I started Or Health to make access to naltrexone convenient and private, to help people like me regain control over alcohol.
If you're ready to stop drinking or just drink less, text BEST to 323232 to get a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. Our licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it online. We'll deliver your prescription right to your door. No doctor's office visits required. Text the word BEST to 323232 to get started today. That's BEST to 323232.
My little brother's friends have been camped out at our place for 2 days straight. 3. It's because of the Xfinity 10G network. Internet that can handle a house full of screens at once, with basically no interruptions. And it's only getting faster. When I was their age, internet like this was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Please go home.
The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through November 15th, new customers can get 75 megabit internet on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $20 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service. Actual speeds vary.
One point, one swing, one tackle, one step. One trusted hospital system for orthopedic care. Franciscan Health's orthopedic, sports medicine, and rehabilitation teams offer state-of-the-art treatments, including total joint replacement, physical therapy, and the latest techniques and interventions for a variety of conditions, including arthritis and orthopedic sports-related injuries, keeping you in step, one step at a time. Find a full range of orthopedic care in one place. Go to franciscanhealth.org/orthocare.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapor Shower for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapor Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapor Shower use for adults only.
What the Jewish community is saying about the anti-Semitic attack against a building in Indy this week. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Another U.S. retaliation in the Middle East. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're not looking for a war with Iran, but we will do what we have to do to protect our troops and our forces.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby on ABC the morning after a second attack in Syria on Iran-backed militants.
After more than 41 attacks on U.S. bases and the downing of a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Red Sea yesterday off the coast of Yemen, a pair of American F-15 fighter jets bombed a weapons storage facility where Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps stores the weapons that are used to constantly target U.S. troops and bases.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Israel keeps bombing Gaza, going after Hamas militants, but there's an attempt to halt that.
There have been meetings in Doha, Qatar, with the CIA, Israel's Mossad, and the Qatari Prime Minister. And the subject of their discussion is a potential of a pause in fighting for as long as 3 days in exchange for a hostage release. The discussions could also involve some food, water aid, and even fuel.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Israel. 5 Republicans running for president all supported Israel in a debate on NBC last night. And Vivek Ramaswamy said,
do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
A swipe at Nikki Haley, who replied they're 5-inch heels. And
I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
In another exchange, Haley called Ramaswamy scum. The frontrunner in the GOP race, former President Trump, was a no-show, holding a big rally instead near that site in Miami. Nikki Haley just told Fox
75% of the country has said they don't want to see a rematch between Biden and Trump. The country deserves better.
At the Trump Organization civil trial in New York this morning, the former president's lawyer, Alina Habba, tells Fox,
we're going to move for a directed verdict, saying that they have rested yesterday. You didn't prove the elements of the case. This case should be dismissed.
Well, the judge already ruled they committed fraud. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How Jews are seeing it. It's cloudy and 51 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A recent anti-Semitic attack by a woman is concerning to the Jewish community in Indianapolis.
This is not just a Jewish problem. This is an American problem. If somebody is sitting in their home saying, well, it's not really my problem, I'm not Jewish, well, we've already been through that era and seen where that lead.
Brad Swim, Regional Security Director with Secure Community Network. Cops say that Ruba Almagatha, the woman who drove her car into a building associated with Black Hebrew Israelites late Friday while shouting "Free Palestine," well, now they're calling her a terrorist. A semi-fire on I-70 westbound on the east side has the interstate shut down right now. It's near Midhofer Road. It's not clear if anybody was hurt. Several drug raids have been happening across northern parts of the city and in Fishers this week. The DEA says that the raids are part of an investigation that's been going on for several months, but they have not said yet what they have found or if they've made any arrests. No matter how you voted Tuesday, the election results were probably a surprise for some people. Donnie Burgess explains.
If you only kept up with your local race, you may not know how hard fought some were between Democrats and Republicans. The red team held some significant seats and even elected the first black Republican mayor in Marion, but it was the Democrats who managed to flip 8 Republican mayor's offices. Indianapolis kept its Democrat mayor, as Joe Hogsett holds on to the Circle City for another 4 years. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The man accused of killing a teenage girl at an apartment complex faced a judge for the first time on Wednesday. Tevis Walker was a maintenance man at the apartment complex on the east side where Janiyah Carr was found murdered last week. He faces 60 years in prison if convicted. Coming to Noblesville next summer, Alanis Morissette. She'll be playing Ruoff Music Center the weekend of July 27th as part of her Triple Moon Tour. Tickets will go on sale next Friday. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. The temperatures are dropping rapidly, and energy costs are on the rise. If you have old, drafty windows, your furnace is working harder than ever to keep your family warm. Why pay unnecessarily high energy bills when Window Nation can help keep you and your family warm all season long, all while lowering your monthly energy costs by up to 30%.
And this month only, Window Nation is offering 0% interest for 5 years. That's 60 months interest-free. And get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Now is the time to protect your family from the elements, lower your energy costs, and upgrade the look and feel of your home. Get 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Offer only good this month. Call Window Nation right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This hour powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, your American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
I don't even know. We'll come back to that. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob.
If only the listeners were privy to the off-air conversations and could see it on stream, they would have an entertaining
Well, I've said this for a while. We should have some sort of pay service by which you could then engage and listen in to what we talk about during the commercial breaks. Like I said, I got to figure out how to get into that topic because I think it's a worthwhile topic, but not get fired and keep our broadcast license. So I'm going to work on that for the next hour. And that's where my...
Work out your euphemisms,
Well,
Rob.
just my incredible broadcasting talent comes in. But for now, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Ethan Hatcher's in for Casey today. Kev is here. So Trump did not participate in the debates last night. Again, hard to really blame him, seeing as how he hasn't been punished for not participating. Doesn't that surprise you that people are like, yeah, dude, you just do whatever you want. You don't have to be accountable to us at all.
Yeah, but then again, I really haven't understood the Republican Party since about 2016.
That really surprises me that people are not demanding of Trump, whether you like him or not, hey, dude, you want to be president, and the party has agreed to participate in this fashion. You want to be the nominee of this party. And don't you owe it to your constituents to stand up and explain what direction you're going to lead the country? But it's hard to blame him for not participating because people don't seem to be holding him accountable.
Okay, so conceptually, I 100% agree with you. But what would Donald Trump be saying on this debate stage that would be any different from what he's already said many times before? Like, is he going to present a different side to him? I don't think so. Would it make a difference if he showed up? I don't think so. I kind of like him not being there because it gives the other candidates a chance to breathe, and at least we can hear them talk.
Are you as interested, though? I mean, just be honest. Are you as interested in the debate because Trump is not there? Wouldn't you be way more into it if Trump was on that stage?
Rob, you know me. I'm a square peg in this round world. I'd be watching the debate either way.
Kev,
I'll watch it with Trump. I'll watch it without Trump.
Let me ask this to Kevin then. Kev, because I'm going to guess you, because you are of sound mind and body, you didn't engage in this in any shape, form, or fashion because you like yourself.
Right.
Yeah. If Trump were there, though, wouldn't you be marginally more inclined to say, let's see what sort of crap show breaks out here at this thing. I might tune in at least for the beginning of it.
Yeah, because then it'd be kind of like a comedy show.
Yeah,
There'd
exactly.
be entertainment value
The average person would probably have engaged in the first at least couple debates just to see what would happen.
Okay, so, well, maybe the first couple, but that's what I want to ask you, Kev. Are you really still entertained by Trump's antics 8 years on? Is this still good for a laugh? Is it still worth a watch? Or is it like we were talking about earlier, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where we're 15 seasons in and, watch it if it's on.
I mean,
maybe
I think in doses, it's still kind of funny.
Exactly, it is. It's like you do not. So here's a great example. When he gave that announcement that he was running for president, was it last year? I guess it was right after the midterms when he announced he was running for president. Everybody was really intrigued to see what he would say. But after about 5 minutes in, here's a good example. Night Court came back this year. You're probably both way too young to remember the TV show Night Court. Night Court was this huge show in the 1980s and I think into the 90s. John Larroquette.
Is this like the People's Court? Is it another courtroom drama?
It was no, it was not a drama.
Not a drama.
It was
I'm
a comedy.
sorry. Yeah,
it was a comedy.
Oh, it's a comedy.
Boy, you two are really dating yourself. You love old things. I was certain you would know. I had no faith in you, Kevin, but I was certain you would know. So it was a comedy in the 1980s. John Larroquette was the star. Richard Mall played a character called Bull, who was kind of the breakout character. Harry Anderson was the judge. And it was this wild, wacky things that happened at the Night Court in New York City.
Okay.
It had been off the air for 30 years. They decided to bring it back, as they do so many of these spinoffs, and it went exactly as expected. Like, after about 5 minutes, you tune in to see how are they going to weave John Larroquette, who was the star, back into the show. And then after about 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I saw it. The nostalgia hit me in the feels for about 2 minutes, and now I'm done here. I think that's the way it would have been for these first couple debates with Trump. You're going to tune in for the first 5 minutes just to see what crazy thing he says. It was the same thing about his re-election announcement, where for 5 minutes you're interested, and then he just starts rambling, and you're like, dude, I don't have 3 hours. I gotta go.
So then, in a weird way, aren't we getting more out of the debates because Trump is not present? And even though that's detrimental to the accountability of your candidates on a campaign trail, we're getting.
It's good for you, Ethan, because you're into it, right? It is. No,
I do enjoy seeing Vivek on the stage, and I feel like he wouldn't shine if Trump was involved in that.
So it's good for you, but at the public at large, the television viewing, the ratings bear this out. It has not been good. So Trump had his own counter programming last night, had his own event in Miami. We talked about how there was some MMA guy who I think was on stage. There was Roseanne was on stage. I mean, it's the typical Trump rally. And he got up, obviously, and did his little on-stage presentation. And one of the things Trump said is, it's time to end the debates.
And it's time for the Republican establishment to stop wasting time and resources trying to push weak and ineffective rhinos and never-Trumpers that nobody wants and nobody's going to vote for. I watched these guys coming in. I had the thing, and I was watching these guys. They're not watchable. You know, the last debate was the lowest-rated debate in the history of politics. So therefore, do you think we did the right thing by not participating?
So he has a point in the sense the first two were not watchable. That one last night was way better, which is that falls on Rona Rana, because if they had made the original thing, hey, you five are up here and the rest of you turkeys, get ready to be served on Thanksgiving. You have no business being up here. It might have been a different story.
Maybe you can help explain this aspect to me that I don't understand, because you've by far been more fond of Trump on the whole than I have over his political career. But That being said, why does he not get punished for the same phenomenon that we were disgusted with Hillary Clinton for? We were disgusted with Hillary Clinton in 2016 because she believed she was entitled to the office, she was entitled to the nomination, and it was going to be a Clinton victory because she was destined for the presidency. But Donald Trump, he's kind of doing the same thing. He is entitled to the Republican nomination. He deserves because he is destined for the presidency, and we don't even need to bother with these debates because they're so worthless. I'm your guy. But he gets rewarded where Hillary Clinton was punished. What's the difference here?
The only analogy that I've been able to come up with, and I've racked my brain on this, because again, I truly believed when this thing started that this cycle was going to be different. People were going to see DeSantis. They were going to be enamored with what he had done. They looked at him, perfect wife, perfect family,
you and me both,
clean.
brother.
And here's what I've come up with. And maybe I am totally off base on this, but it is the only thing that seems to make sense. And that is, sometimes in a dating relationship, there is, to steal a line from Wayne's World, one incredible woman, in which she will be able to do things that all the previous women that you have dated and you have kicked to the curb for doing these things, she will do them, and you just can't quit that person. There's no logic to it, Ethan.
You used this analogy before, and I like the analogy.
There's no logic to it.
But what is Trump doing for us between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. that is worth
This is what I don't get. This is what I don't get, is why with the politicians. I get it with the woman. Like, I get it. Been there, done that many, many times. If anybody's good about not learning their lesson with women, it was me, Ethan, for a very long time. But I don't get it with politics, because the actual Trump delivery is not like, if you ask somebody to walk you through all the great things Trump did, especially when you factor in his behavior during COVID, none of it makes any sense. It's the only thing I can get to. I'm not even sure it's a good analogy. I just don't know, Ethan. I don't know.
You are so perspicacious and informed.
I'm a what?
You're observant and informed. And whenever you are befuddled by a situation, it makes me feel better about myself, because it makes me feel slightly more normal, because I don't understand either.
Speaking of Trump's behavior, now, by the way, can we agree Nikki Haley is very annoying?
Yes.
Can we agree? Can we?
New York Post said she won the debate. Vivek made a fool of himself, and Nikki Haley shined. That's what they said. I couldn't believe that. I saw that on Twitter. I'm like, you're kidding.
They like her
what
because
debate did you watch?
She's very establishmenty. She's super neocon-y. She's kind of the mold of what the modern Republican Party really wants. So they're propping her up now. But boy,
did you hear she wants to go with to more with Mexico?
She's I mean, let's just take her policy position. She's obnoxious, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, she, in between various stints of being highly obnoxious, she was talking about Trump's spending and behavior post-presidency. And even though she is very obnoxious, I thought she made some interesting points.
You know, everybody wants to talk about President Trump. Well, I can talk about President Trump. I can tell you that I think he was the right president at the right time. I don't think he's the right president now. I think that he put us $8 trillion in debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for that. I think the fact that he used to be right on Ukraine and foreign issues, now he's getting weak in the knees and trying to be friendly again. I think that we've got to go back to the fact that we can't live in the past. We can't live in other headlines. We've got to start focusing on what's going to make America strong and proud. And that's what I'm focused on doing.
I struggle because my job is to talk, Ethan. So I am like at war with myself right now, because my job is to talk, and I don't want to like her because she's obnoxious, and I know she's a total establishment swamp person. But again, I just can't get past the fact that all the behavior during COVID, and people are just like, oh, that's our guy. That's a wild and wacky Trump. And I understand there's part of it, too, where a lot of people believe, and we're not going to get into this in depth right now because we got to get to a break, that due to mass mail-in, unaccountable balloting and things of that nature, that the guy in the White House didn't actually win the election, and that's part of it, too. But I just think we've got to have an honest conversation about how Trump gets across the finish line, how he brings like-minded conservative or patriotic people with him across the finish line, and then how he effectively governs differently than he governed the first time. And we'll see what happens. All right, when we come back, as annoying and as obnoxious as Nikki Haley is, she will never, and I mean never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never come close to Hillary Clinton.
Correct.
And Hillary Clinton went on The View yesterday and said something so ridiculous about Trump that we have to play it for you and discuss. It's Ethan in for Casey, Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. Hey, guys, big number. Pay attention. 13%. Right now, you can get a 13% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $13,000 bonus right out of the gate. Not only will you get a 13% bonus, you could also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. And get this, you'll sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn more from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. You know, he's our retirement guy too. Just call 317-932-9912. This 13% bonus, as you can imagine, won't last long. So call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
A lightning strike.
Your city.
Caused a fire at an elementary school in Brownsburg.
Your state.
Trees down, power lines down, and roof damage.
2 tornadoes confirmed in southern Indiana.
17 poles were snapped during the storms, and some big lines were brought down.
Your country.
Open fire at the Allen Premium Outlet.
I wish that passing gun laws solved the problem.
America is more divided.
On air, on your smart speaker.
And we got to come together.
And WIBC.com.
Simply Safe was named the best home security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for fast emergency response. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to get 50% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hey, it's JMV, and save the date for the Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden Holiday Open House that's coming November the 18th and 19th. Both locations will have samples, door prizes, giveaways, and holiday decor. Plus, they're adding Christmas displays daily. Come get a sneak peek before the open house. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, sundowngardens.com. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135 in Bargersville, just south of Whiteland Road. MissMsHomeandGarden.com.
The Indiana Donor Network encourages you to say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
Hillary Clinton went on The View and said, well, she said something just totally ridiculous about Donald Trump. It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Kevin's here. Ethan Hatcher in for Casey today. Before we get to this Hillary Clinton audio, though, I made a big choice, Ethan, after much debate and back and forth and a long thought process. We shared with our audience, because I don't take days off throughout the course of the year, that I have an egregious amount of days, that I literally have so many days off to take. I'm running out of time to take all the days off. And I have decided, with consultation with our upper management, that I am indeed going to essentially take the whole month of December off.
Good, man. You deserve it.
The whole month. Do you think that is too much? Will the audience miss me too much?
Oh, they'll miss you, but you're a workaholic, man. You need to take some time off. Like, whenever you are off the air, it is a moment to commemorate because you want to be here. So you're always here. You never leave, and the accumulation of these vacation days are just a testament to your dedication to the craft.
There's an old saying, and it's true in love and it's true in life. How could I miss you if you won't go away? And so I think a part of my goal here is to show the audience how much they will miss me. And I have so many days off that I am not only taking the whole month of December. Now, I will be here for Radiothon, which is December 8th. I will do that. But I have so many days off that I'm actually rolling over the maximum amount of days that I can roll over and still take the entire month of December off.
Wow, Rob, you've done well with for yourself.
I mean,
it's
going to be a wild and wacky time. So I'm just telling you, go ahead and clear your December schedule because they'll probably be calling you quite often.
Would you sell any of those vacation days to Nigel?
In a heartbeat. Well, this is what I don't understand. So you cannot buy out your days here, which I would gladly do, but I never thought about that. Because, you're an old and timey guy. In the old days, they had the barter system. Maybe I could indeed sell some of these days off to Nigel. Because, I get weird if I'm not at work. Like it physically affects me if I'm not at work. So I'm hoping I handle this okay because I feel like I'm somehow letting society down if I'm not here at work.
Wait a minute, Rob. I'm starting to formulate a plan here. Not only can you sell the vacation days to Nigel and thereby avoid having to leave the job you love, but you can then use the funds to make your betting for the year free. Utilize that money from your sold vacation, and then you can bet for free for the rest of the year. And whatever you win is pure profit.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask this. Can I sell my day? Can I sell my days to Nigel? Okay. Okay, so we've made the decision on that, and so you've got us through the rest of November, and then come December 1, it's Casey and friends through the remainder of the year. All right, Hillary Clinton. So she went on The View yesterday. Is Hillary Clinton the most unlikable person in the entire world?
Yeah, what a way to deflate the conversation. We were having such fun, and then you pivot, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Boo.
So she went on The View yesterday and compared Trump to Hitler. She said...
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, she compared Trump to Hitler. Here you go.
Hitler was duly elected. That's right. Right? And so... all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
We need to listen to
Take him at his word. The man means to throw people in jail who disagree with him, shut down legitimate press outlets, do what he can to literally undermine the rule of law and our country's values.
He will use the military to stop protesters.
He's going to do it. He's not going to do a whole bunch of stuff right now.
So I was always told, look, I get that I grew up in a rather strict household, but I was always told that if you were going to compare someone to Hitler, don't. Because no one is as bad as Hitler. But apparently Trump is now on the equivalent of Hitler.
Well, yeah, two things. First of all, what about you, lady? He threatened to lock you up. Remember those chants? Lock her up. For 4 years he was president and it didn't happen. You're still around, so you'll be fine, chick. You'll be fine. Second of all, remind me, Rob, I forget. When did Hitler move the German embassy to Jerusalem and recognize it as the capital of Israel? When did that happen in Hitler's history? Oh, that's right. He didn't like the Jews.
Yeah, that's a strong flex coming from Hillary Clinton. And again, just a little bit of life advice for you. If you are going to compare someone to Hitler, unless they have killed 6 million people and invaded multiple countries, just probably don't do that. All right, let's take a break. We got voicemails. When we come back, Ethan's in for Casey. Kev's here. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Terry Stacy here. It's holiday time, and that means honey baked ham. Slow smoked for 24 hours, spiral sliced for easy serving, then fire glazed right in the store to create that sweet, crunchy glaze they're famous for. Honey Baked makes it easy to serve family and friends the best with holiday meal bundles that include turkey or ham, delicious sides, and decadent desserts. Taste the Honey Baked tradition with 2 Central Indiana locations, West 96th Street and Michigan Road and East Greyhound Pass in Carmel.
Is the American dream, but today's economy is challenging. Have you fallen behind on your mortgage payments? Many homeowners facing financial difficulty often feel lost and don't know where to turn for help. The airwaves are filled with offers of fast and simple relief. However, many find these offers often lead to damaged credit, higher debt, and ultimately the loss of one's home. If it seems like there's no way out, know there is legitimate help available. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling is a nonprofit organization that has provided answers and concrete solutions to consumers in situations just like yours for more than 60 years. Our certified housing specialists will work with you to review your finances and create a custom plan that's right for your specific situation. NFCC member agencies provide free and affordable help and meet U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development standards. Call 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. And it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hey, it's Rob. I started losing hair around my crown and my hairline was starting to recede. I went to We Grow Hair Indy and they helped grow my hair back. My friend Dave First, a sports broadcaster for over 20 years, also struggled with hair loss. Dave, what happened?
My thinning hair was bothering me. For me, I'm in the public eye. I'm a dad also, and I want to look and feel my best. And if I'm going to do something about my hair, I want to go with the best. We Grow Hair Indy. They really set the standard.
Dave, that's amazing. I had the same procedure, multi-unit hair grafting transplants, which gives you more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Call 317-522-2995 for your free hair and scalp evaluation. Find out if hair transplants or PRP is right for you.
If you're thinking about this, don't waste your time or money. Go to the experts.
Call 317-522-2995, 522-2995, or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard for hair restoration.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Exchanging volleys. It's partly cloudy and 52 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. U.S. troops are retaliating against recent attacks by Iranian-affiliated fighters in Syria.
The Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, made a comment about this yesterday, saying that this is all in self-defense. 42 locations where U.S. forces overseas have been attacked in just the last 4 weeks here in the Middle East. A U.S. defense official confirmed to Fox that off the coast of Yemen, Houthis shot down a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone. These drones specialize in intelligence and surveillance. They cost about $32 million. Meanwhile, in Gaza, the IDF continues to press forward, unleashing new airstrikes in Gaza overnight.
Fox's Alex Hogan reporting several countries are meeting in Paris this week trying to discuss a ceasefire in the fighting between Israel and Hamas in order to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. Republican presidential hopefuls are making their case for the Oval Office. 5 candidates faced off last night in a debate hosted by NBC News. They clashed over several topics, including the southern border, Ukraine, Israel, and abortion.
Let's agree on how we can ban late-term abortions. Let's make sure we encourage adoptions and good quality adoptions. Let's make sure we make contraception accessible. Let's make sure that none of these state laws put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty for getting an abortion.
That's Nikki Haley. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Got an emergency on the weekend? We're here for you at B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains.
Just go to bplusw.com. B&W is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Real estate research reports housing prices are still slowly rising and inventory is still below historical averages. Now is a great time to get a big payday from your equity growth. Hire the agent who is an expert on maximizing your home price fast, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a low-ball instant offer. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ben near Speedway had to say about working with Mark Dietl. After 48 years, it was time to downsize and cash in on my equity. I heard about Mark on the radio and hired him, and he delivered as promised. Mark got me a cash offer with no appraisal before the home went on the market at the price I wanted. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
317-684-8444. That's the phone number, 317-684-8444. If you'd like to engage with us, it's the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Ethan's in for Casey today. All right, so we had Jim Merritt on the program as the guest host the last couple days.
He did really good. I like listening to you guys.
Merritt's great. I've been very good friends with Jim Merritt for a long time. And many people know that Merritt and I are very close. And yes, Merritt and I have very different political views on many things. We have very different views on the Republican Party. And, well, some person called and they were just amazed that Jim Merritt and I could be that good of friends given our differences. So I'd like to let this person have their say, and then I will address their concerns. How about that?
Now, I don't understand, Rob, your infatuation with this guy. To me, he's everything you rail against. He's a lifelong political person, 30 years in the State House, then he ran for mayor, then he some big shot in the Republican Party. He's one of your office hoppers that you talk about. He's a person that tries to keep John Russ from being running, and who clears the way for people like the Duke of Spendenberg to cheat the system to run. I heard him on an earlier broadcast say, when talked about John Russ, that we only want real Republicans, which means to me what they want is some kind of mindless idiot that cannot have a thought for themselves, who will do what they say, vote the way they tell them to, and act the way they tell them to. So that any intelligent, free-thinking person with a fresh idea will not be accepted. And I remember when you asked him about that, and he kind of hem-hawed around about it. But, Rob, keep your day job, because this man will never let you run. You are one of those intelligent, free-thinking people with fresh ideas.
Okay. So, first of all, and this may shock, and Ethan will confirm this, I'm actually a pretty nice guy.
It's true. When the microphone goes off, the charm turns on.
And as such, I have many, many very good friends who I vehemently disagree with on a lot of things. Abdul would be a great example of that.
I was exactly about to say that. Does this listener not know that you and Abdul are very good friends?
And my issue with the politicians is not necessarily that I disagree with their actions. I disagree with the disingenuous way that they handle themselves. I disagree with their essentially lying to the people of the state about what the Republican Party is. And I am appalled at their unwillingness to come on and own their baggage. And in the case of Jim Merritt, whether you like him or you don't, Jim Merritt, whether it's State House Happenings or this show each week or as a fill-in host, is always willing to come on here and express his views, and you're going to hear those views, and you're going to form your own opinion as this guy has based on those views. We're all big boys and girls. We should be able to hear people we disagree with and go about our day. I mean, it's like before Jim Lucas totally wimped out and became too afraid to come on here. We used to have spirited discussions all the time, and he put his foot in his mouth, and he was a great tool for people to see what the Republican Party was when he'd defend the gas tax or these other things. I am more than willing to have people on that I disagree with. Most of these people won't come on. Jim Merritt will come on. He will tell you what he thinks. He will give you insight into the establishment of the Republican Party, and that's a great gift. Jim Merritt's a good guy. He's always been very good to me, personally and professionally, and we should be able to engage in conversations with people with which we disagree.
And regardless of how you feel about him, wouldn't he have made a phenomenally better mayor last election cycle than Joe Hogsett has been in the past 4 years?
Absolutely. So, look, again, not to ruin the act here, but I am a very nice person in person. Somebody once told me that. They said, if people just saw the real you, they would feel much differently. All right. So yesterday, 2 days ago now, what is today? Today is Thursday. Yeah. So Tuesday was election day. That abortion, on-demand abortion right was codified into the Constitution in the state of Ohio. That's gross. Regardless of what your opinion on abortion is, if you think that you should be able to take a 9-month-old fetus and suck the brains out of that fetus, you are a gross, disgusting person. And Jim Merritt and I had a long conversation about this, and some guy was very mad that we were promoting life, I guess.
Yeah, hi. I'm just calling about the Ohio vote in Ohio to legalize abortion. I thought you guys were in the party of freedom and democracy and less government. And yet I heard you yesterday whining about the people's decision in Ohio and how bad it was. And your co-host for the week there, Mr. Merritt, talking about how it was, quote, it's, quote, in a legislative issue, meaning that it needs to be decided by the government, the government that you guys are always talking about is so big, and so now all of a sudden this should be a government issue.
If you are, and this guy went on for a long time, if you are that passionate about at 9 months being able to suck the brains out of a living, functioning human being, man, you need to check yourself if that is your cause du jour, brother.
I think Rob, I think Republicans need to be very careful with this messaging and mischaracterizing the pro-abortion argument, because I think you will find most people, including myself, who support pro-choice do not believe you should be able to suck the brains out of a 9-month-old fetus. Like, that is the extreme, utter minority. And the election results show that most of America is on board with at least some access to abortion. You're not, sucking the brains out of a 9-month-old fetus, not Ralph Abortham, former governor of Virginia, suck the brains out of a baby after it's already been delivered. But 15 to 20 weeks, I think most Americans are there.
Well, and so
Republicans may have grossly miscalculated in their effort to overturn Roe by kicking it back to the states, where you then affect a mostly equivalent reality to what was already sown by Roe because the people support it.
Well, and we talked to Tony Kinnett last hour about this, and J.D. Vance wrote a long thing about it, senator from Ohio, about this. And look, the reality is, and Tony was talking about it yesterday driving home, and I thought he had an interesting take on it, which is ultimately, I'm not sure you can legislate your way to where you want people to be. Now, there are certain things you can do and certain parameters you can put around to try to eliminate abortion. But in a state like Ohio, where they have relatively easy ballot accessibility, it's like Indiana doesn't have that. Indiana could pass, what was a pretty good abortion bill, and that's the law, and that's the way it is. We don't have the ballot access measures like Ohio does. But in a state like Ohio, where they have the ability to put these things on the ballot, if you try to eat the whole apple at once versus picking off that apple, as much as we may want you to eat the whole apple, have you now in the long term done more harm than good, instead of, say, starting at 15 weeks as the ban, because now you've forced people to make a choice. And it's the conversation that's going on right now. It went on last night at the debates. And it's where the Republicans have got to get straight on, because we should be a culture that promotes life. We should be a culture that scorns the idea of killing innocent, defenseless babies.
A culture, though, not a government.
Well, and so this is the question. Where does it all merge together? Tony Kinnett was very passionate the other way earlier, but the Republicans have got to try to find some sort of consensus on this, because right now with states having, which by the way, Roe versus Wade was rightly decided. I'm saying the overturning of Roe versus Wade was rightly decided. It is a state issue. It's a state's issue. So how do we as a collective, because Indiana's a different conversation without these ballot access measures versus Ohio, who has these how do you come up with a strategy when every state is kind of different?
This was a well-worn phrase of the Republican Party through the 90s and the early 2000s. Was what I grew up with, and I agree with the mantra that you cannot legislate your way to morality. The government, which governs best, governs least. I don't want government interfering in my private decision-making in many aspects.
All right, so I did want to play this one more voicemail before we go to a break. This guy lamenting the election results on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm looking for help to find the sleaziest dump bar in the city where to celebrate the victory and the will of the people, basically the will of the dumb and the stupid, and the re-election of Hogsett.
Now, I would be the wrong person to ask to find the sleaziest bar because, full disclosure, I always picked my bars based on... I did not pick my bars for the drinking, Ethan. I picked my bars based on where the best-looking women were, and I drank accordingly in order to keep viewing the good-looking women.
Classy establishments.
The drinking was not the primary driver of me going to the bar. The drinking was a side effect of being at the bar in order to look at the good-looking women, and thus... the sleaziest bars in town were not usually where you would find the most well-assembled women. However, you spend a lot of time on the east side, so maybe you could help this guy out.
I would suggest going to about 38th and Post and throwing a rock. You'll hit something.
All right. When we come back, what is this lady's name? What is it? What's her name?
Caitlin Siragusa,
No,
otherwise
Amaranth.
Amaranth. Is her online handle.
Amaranth?
Amaranth.
So she is some sort of internet influencer?
She's an e-thought.
She's a what?
An e-thought.
What the hell is that?
THOT, that hoe over there.
Oh, well, okay then. She's there's a new product out that she is lending not only her name, but lending a lot more to, and Ethan is adamant that we discuss this when we come back. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel Show, all of a sudden, China wants to be our friend. Do you believe it? Also, we'll go off the rails with Rob Kendall, 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword info 42 to 866-482-9559. That's info 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
It's Thursday. Sunday is going to be here before you know it. And maybe this Sunday you're feeling called for something different. Could be a new church home or even a first church home. If that sounds like it could be you, please consider checking out my fabulous, wonderful, amazing friends and family at Life Church. Yeah, Life Church, they've had such an amazing impact on my life, on my wife's life, on my daughter's life the past almost 2 years now. And they would just so love this Sunday to meet and welcome you and your family. Life Church has campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. In addition to incredible online services, we watch those a lot. Learn more about it all, lifechurchin.com.
Where do you feel the pain, guys? Look, sometimes you're getting older, you feel it in the knees or the hips, the shoulder, the back, but you don't have to let it sideline you. And if it is, talk to the professionals at QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, restoring and repairing damaged joint tissue. Surgery is not your only option. Take a breath, take a beat, and talk to QC Kinetics first. With demand so strong, QC Kinetics has added Saturday appointments right here in the Indianapolis area. Do you have arthritic pain or pain from an injury? Call QC Kinetics. Don't just live with it. That's crazy. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. QC Kinetics. It's in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel, with those Saturday hours at all 3 locations. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
If you're over 50, Absolute Wealth Management LLC is offering a special deal to kickstart your financial journey in 2024. You can have your 2023 tax return prepared and filed, including Schedules A, B, and D, for just $79.95. Call us now at 317-288-0634. That's 317-288-0634, or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. Investment advisory services offered through Gradient Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Gradient Advisors LLC and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because only the Sleep Number Climate 360 smart bed lets you each sleep up to 13 degrees cooler or warmer on either side, while you both sleep at your ideal level of firmness, comfort, and support, your Sleep Number setting. And now our all-new next-gen smart beds have temperature benefits, so you sleep better night after night. And now, during our Veterans Day sale, save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Every dollar matters when it comes to Medicare coverage. When you enroll with MDY's Medicare, our low-cost plans give you access to over 27,000 in-network providers. $0 primary care copay with no deductibles, plus a generous OTC allowance. Call 833-248-3906 or go to mdwise.org/MDY's Medicare. Enroll by December 7th. MDY's Medicare is an HMO/HMO POS with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in MDY's Medicare depends on contract renewal.
Rhino Shield's 25% off special has been extended through November. Plus, receive a free TV up to 75 inches just by having your job done by spring of 24.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC.
Packed up her bags and she took off down the road.
There are some really weird men in this world.
Yes, there are.
And there are some brilliant women who are willing to exploit them for every penny they have. It is the Kendall and Casey show. 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Kev's here. Ethan's in for Casey today. One of my favorite things that I used to love to do was I would just sit and I would watch the interactions between men, and I used to call them suckers, and women at a bar, and to see how long these men would be able to be exploited to give women free drinks that they had no intention of. These women had no intention of, like, going on a date with them, learning more about them. And we used to get great joy out of watching people part with their money
just to have the attention of this woman for a few minutes.
The fleeting moment of attention, right? And so it is long gone past, you children and your young Eric. What are you? Are you 30?
I'm 30.
You're 30.
Turn 31 tomorrow.
Oh, happy early birthday, by the way. Well, now we know what to get you here. We'll talk about that in just a second. And you're 28.
Yeah, I'm 28.
It has gone way past that was innocent, and hey, you're out a few bucks because you bought a girl some shots. To now the things that men are parting with their monies on And it is just, Ethan, you saw this story, and okay, this woman's name, what is her name?
Her name is Caitlin Saragusa, but she goes by the online handle of Amaranth. She's an e-girl, e-thought. She sells pictures of herself online to thirsty simps, as they're known.
He's just rolling out all the phrases. Careful here, Ethan.
Well, you can call them simps. That's an accurate descriptor.
We've said that before.
What does simps mean? What is that?
Simping is like a simpleton. You are a simpleton for these women.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what used to happen in the bars, now it happens on the internet. You give this woman money. She pretends to be interested in you for a few minutes.
This woman is following in what I won't call a proud tradition, but a tradition nonetheless of e-girls like Belle Delphine, who you may remember a few years ago.
I remember Belle Delphine. Ethan, I can tell you I have spent time with exactly 0 e-girls.
Oh, no, you don't have to spend time to know of the selling of the bathwater. That was so you do know Belle Delphine. See? The selling of the bathwater. And Caitlin Saragusa Amaranth, as she's known, in an attempt to one-up, I guess, Belle Delphine's commercial enterprise of selling used bathwater, has partnered with a Polish brewing company. They brew beer.
Well, she's putting her picture on a beer bottle or something?
No, she's selling a little more than her image.
Oh no.
How do I put this, Rob? You know how in the brewing process one requires yeast to ferment the alcohol and get the process?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
this time-honored tradition.
This Polish brewing company is harvesting can we say vaginal lactic acid?
Well, you just
on
said
the
it.
Okay.
I think it's a medical thing.
It is a medical thing from this young woman, 29-year-old, in the propagation of yeast for their brewing. She says people will buy it, quote, "It's hilarious. People buy it for sure. I don't know if they'll actually drink it. I mean, they'll probably drink it."
So wait.
She says it'll taste creamy and sweet. Let's see.
This is a legitimate drink.
Quote, "The Twitch influencer has an itch that her vaginal yeast additive will give the beer a creamy but sweet taste." This is gross.
Has someone told Hammer and Nigel about this? I think this could be like a Beer Sample Friday drink.
This is... this is a legitimate company. This is not like some guy.
They've done it before. This isn't even the first girl they've partnered with. I guess she's just the one with the highest profile. They have other online performance artists who have contributed these fluids for the brewing.
We got to ask Kloppensteinstein. Kloppensteinstein is the guest host tomorrow. We've got to ask, because he has the Alpsbrow brew, about what...
Maybe they can come out with a version of this with an Indiana performer.
This woman isn't even that attractive. I mean, she's fine, but when you can tell
she's like a Broad Ripple 9.
No. Maybe an 8. I don't mean we don't.
What kind of women are getting into Broad Ripple?
Ethan, if you have to ask that question, then
I don't hang around Broad Ripple. I'm a square. I've made this abundantly clear.
She's fine though, but it's like I can't imagine that this woman is that attractive that somebody would be willing to give her money for this.
Well, they're giving the Polish company the money for it. I guess the Polish company is paying her for the price.
Yes, this is a marketing.
They're laughing themselves all the way to the bank.
Doesn't this person look like an animated person? She doesn't even look like a real human being. And then when you see her when she's not made up, she's not nearly as attractive.
Yeah, like the e-girl culture, it's all about trying to be like an anime character, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But Rob, that's a time-honored tradition. Women have been using makeup to hide a multitude of sins for eons. Thousands of years.
I can't. All I have to say is I'm so glad I'm no longer in the dating game. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about this. But Kev, you're right. Beer Sample Friday, that'd be brilliant for Hammer and Nigel. All right, Ethan's in for Casey. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Sometime.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Join us this Saturday for our annual Turkey Fest. Grilled turkey, fried turkey, trash can turkey. Just how many ways do we prepare turkey? Well, come find out this Saturday at our 71st and Keystone store. Pick up your copy of the Turkey Fest coupons for added savings like 25% off any gift shop decor item. Look at our pre-lit artificial Christmas trees. At Sullivan Hardware and Garden, you can actually see 150 different styles of artificial trees already reduced 30%. And at our 71st and Keystone store, climb aboard the Sullivan Express and visit Santa. Book your tickets at sullivanhardware.com. Visit our gift shop, the Yellow House at Sullivan's, for additional savings on Christmas gifts, ornaments, collectibles, and accents. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn in Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or text healthy to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Hey, you're up next. My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Want to look your best? Then go to the best. Go where I go. 459 Barber Lounge. Across from the Fashion Mall on 86th Street. 459online.com. Tell them Tony Cat sent you.
The Indiana Donor Network encourages you to say yes to being an organ donor when you renew your hunting license online. Learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a recap of who won the elections, but also coming up in 2 minutes, a traffic update on what's going on the west side, but also a security expert working with synagogues reacts to an anti-Semitic attack in Indy. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
There will be pauses to the war in Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's just coming out of the White House now, that Israel's agreed to 4-hour humanitarian pauses daily to allow Palestinian civilians to flee the fighting amid reports of negotiations, an attempt to free some of the hostages Hamas is holding. President Biden just told reporters before a trip to Illinois,
"We're not going to stop till we get them out."
This is the day after the U.S. retaliated again to the now 42 attacks on American bases in Iraq and Syria. Warplanes hit a weapons warehouse in Syria used by Iran-backed militants.
It is clear Iran and its proxies did not stop attacks after the U.S. carried out a pair of airstrikes in Syria on October 26.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon quotes a defense official there.
What we blew up inside were bad things. It could have been rockets, could have been drones, could have been artillery shells. Certainly whatever it was was what is being used against our forces in the region.
But Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden tells Fox they got nothing.
That was not the appropriate response. And immediately following the bombing of an empty warehouse in the middle of the desert, Lloyd Austin essentially apologized for doing so. The Biden administration is projecting strategic weakness around the world.
He's referencing the defense secretary there. Trump attorneys will today try to get a lawsuit dismissed in New York, claiming the attorney general did not prove the case at trial, days after combative testimony from former President Trump denying his company did anything wrong, but the judge already ruled they committed fraud. In court in Michigan, a judge is hearing arguments in an attempt in a third state to keep the Trump name off the 2024 ballot.
Pointing to the Constitution's 14th Amendment that prohibits a person from running for office if they've engaged in insurrection in relation to the 2021 Capitol riot. The former president's never been charged with insurrection.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. A court in Minnesota ruled Trump can remain on the primary ballot, but left the door open to a challenge later if he's the Republican nominee. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says the intent was clear. It's mostly sunny and 55 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. She meant to attack Jewish people, but she was mistaken. Still,
the fact that she was mistaken in her targeting certainly doesn't diminish the level of concern that somebody would take such violent, drastic action.
Brad Swim, a security expert tasked with working with local synagogues, talking about Haruba Almagatha, who rammed her car into a building owned by the Black Hebrew Israelites this week. The organization is not affiliated with the Jewish faith. Still, Almagatha, a native of Jordan, being called a terrorist by police. Traffic still stopped on I-70 westbound on the east side. It's because of an earlier semi-fire. Murder is the charge against a maintenance worker in Indianapolis. John Herrick reports.
On Wednesday, at a court hearing, a judge decided to hold Tevis Walker without bond. Police say he was the one who shot and killed a 15-year-old girl in late October named Janiyah Carr. On November 1st, a woman walking her dog found Carr's body. Walker was arrested the next day during a traffic stop, and he's got a pretrial hearing coming up February 20th. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Jamie Knoll used to be the sheriff in Clark County. He's now an inmate at the county jail as he's facing several charges related to fraud. State police arrested Knoll after it was discovered that while he was sheriff, he's accused of having his employees maintain his personal and business property, all while on the clock with the sheriff's office, along with other similar accusations. He's charged with theft and obstruction. He'll be in court this afternoon. Senator Mike Braun of Indiana says he's glad the House passed a solid bill to give military aid to Israel.
First time in a long time from the House of Representatives, we've gotten a clean bill that has a pay for.
It takes money originally meant for the IRS to pay for it. The funding would only go to Israel, which Democrats have a problem with. The Indiana Pacers take on the Milwaukee Bucks this evening. They have won 2 in a row after knocking off Utah last night. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Winter is knocking on our doors, Indianapolis, and it's time to get your home ready for the cold Indiana weather. Don't let those chilly winds sneak through cracks in your siding, potentially causing leaks and costly damage. At Moss Roofing, they specialize in more than just roofs. They are here to help you winterize your entire home. From comprehensive inspections to full siding replacements, Moss Roofing has a solution to fit every single budget, even yours. If you're worried about payments in this economy, Moss Roofing has you covered. They've got flexible options that will let you get the roof or siding you need to keep your family safe and your investment, your home, in tip-top shape. Contact Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing. 747-3665 or online at Moss. MOSS. MossRoofing.com.
This hour powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, your American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You ever make a choice that in the moment seems like a really good idea, and then about, I don't know.
Yes, Rob, I got married.
2 hours. Okay. 2 hours later, you're like, that was just about the worst idea ever, and someone really should have stopped me. That person is Ron DeSantis. 93 WIPC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I got to give you credit, Ethan. You are just a one direct son of a gun, and I admire the heck out of you for that. And look, people do this in life where you have to, you're at that, the fork in the road, and you got to decide which way you're going to go. And sometimes it's done on emotion. Sometimes it's done on logic. Sometimes it's done on a mixture of emotion and logic. And in the case of Ron DeSantis, it's been a bad result, but I'm not sure he made look, in hindsight, he made a bad choice. But in the moment, it seemed like, and we're talking about running for president, seemed like a no-brainer for him to do.
Oh, unquestionably, he made the correct decision to run for president. He had the cultural zeitgeist. If he would have waited, the moment would have passed him by. He struck while the metal was hot. He had the opportune moment, and sadly, this wasn't his time. But he chose the right time to make the gambit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that gambit doesn't always pay off.
And people say, Tony Kinnett said this earlier, well, he hasn't run a very good campaign. He's run an okay campaign by traditional standards. Has he lit the world on fire? No. But if you took Ron DeSantis and you dropped him into 2004 or 2008 or maybe even 2012, you would go, he's running a fine campaign. He's not Rick Perry going, oops. He's not Fred Thompson mumbling his way, acting like he doesn't want to be there. He was perceived as the guy, and he's by and large played bogey-free golf. He hasn't made a bunch of birdies, but he also, isn't 5 over par. He's kind of just run a traditional campaign. And given how good his record was in Florida, I think many people thought the more you see of this guy, if indeed the country clamors, because that's what Biden was about for many people. It was like they didn't necessarily dislike Trump's policies. They simply, and this is bizarre, I think this is totally weird, I'm not this person by any shape, form, or fashion, they just expect the president to be something, and they yearn for a more boring day-to-day operation from the White House. Well, Biden gave you boring. He also gave you incoherent, bumbling, and lost his marbles, and he's run the country into the ground. And I thought, okay, if that's what you desire, but you like Trump's policies, isn't DeSantis like the porridge is just right? And yet he has not gained any traction whatsoever and, in fact, gone backwards.
So doesn't this speak to a phenomenon we discussed earlier in the show, which is the importance of personality in the political presentation to sway voters and become a leader? Because that's the thing. That's the only thing that DeSantis is lacking from my point of view. He's got the bona fides.
Yeah.
He's got the record to run on. He's got a solid point of view. He's got a conservative foundation. What he doesn't have is the energy, the je ne sais quoi.
The what?
The je ne sais quoi, the undiscernible, undefinable feature that makes a leader attractive.
Did you learn that on Babbel, or like where did you
That's
cover
a French
That is
phrase.
a common phrase, Rob.
I actually know that one.
I've never heard that phrase. And what was it?
Je
Blah,
ne
blah,
sais
blah, blah?
quoi.
Yeah, je ne sais quoi.
Yep.
And what
Kevin
does that,
knows.
what does
Kevin
that mean,
knows.
Mr. Learned study abroad man?
It means like how do I describe it? Like
That's
That's
why I
what it
asked
means.
you.
No, that's
it.
exactly what it means. How do I describe it? It's
That's
that
what it means.
undiscernible,
Yeah.
that undiscernible, undefinable, X
Oh,
factor.
sure.
Je ne sais quoi.
Why didn't you just say that? Why? What? I mean, what? Like, I feel like you. I'm not saying you're speaking in tongues here, but I feel like multiple times throughout this show today, you weave into various foreign languages, Ethan. And I really have trouble.
I like to bring vocabulary
Sure.
to the broadcast,
Yeah.
and I think we've introduced a number of new and exciting words to our listeners this broadcast.
So there's a new poll out, and this is even in Florida, where he just boat raced the competition. He lifted up the down ballot people. He helped Marco Rubio immensely, he being DeSantis. This poll from the University of North Florida found that DeSantis is down 40 points to Trump in his home state. That, Ethan, to me is mind-boggling, that you are this incredibly popular governor. You easily won re-election. You exceeded all expectations. You won in almost every county in the state. You won in traditionally blue strongholds. You lifted every down ballot candidate with you, and you're down 40 points to a guy who, yes, Trump won the state, but it wasn't like Trump won 80% of the vote against Biden in Florida in 2020. What do we make of this? It's by the way, the numbers are Trump at 60, DeSantis at 21.
Rob, I told you I don't understand the direction of the Republican Party since 2016, and particularly like what really energized me. I remember this was when I was becoming really politically active and politically awake, was circa 2010. Remember the Tea Party wave, the Tea Party movement. 2010, I would have just been turning 18 years old. And they ran on limited government, constitutional conservatism, reining in runaway spending, lowering taxes, all economic messages that I believe in and can wholeheartedly support. Seems like the party ran away from that with Donald Trump during 2016 when they actually held all the branches of government, when they had the presidency, when they had the House, when they had the Senate. They added, what was it, a quarter of the total national debt in all of United States history. A quarter of the debt was added under Donald Trump's 4 years. You want to talk about what a profligate spender Obama was? Donald Trump was the same thing, if not worse, in a shorter period of time. So I'm mystified what the attraction here is. I believe in limited government. I believe in reining in the Washington spending. Donald Trump does not. I guess many Republican voters, it is not as an important issue to them.
By the way, behind the scenes, little inside baseball thing here, if you'd like to see how the radio show works. So there's a famous movie. It's famous for being bad, where Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi are in this movie together, and I forget what the name of it is. But the movie it's a horrific movie. It was like this supposed to be this big blockbuster. I think it was post Blues Brothers, and they switch roles where Aykroyd plays the wacky guy and Belushi is the straight guy. And so when Ethan is on the show, I play the straight guy, and Ethan is the bombastic lunatic guy. So it's like I'm expanding my acting skills here today, because we can't have two people screaming Ethan. And I get that there are people who just say, look, the election in 2020 was not on the up and up. Trump should have been the president. Trump was the president, whatever. But there's all sorts of points in life where people feel like they get screwed, either in relationships or in business or in whatever it might be, and you're sour about it for a while. But then if something better comes along, you're like, well, that was awful, and I've been mad about this for a year, or I've been mad about this for 6 months, or I've been mad about this for 3 days, or whatever it is. But this is clearly better, and maybe it's better that it worked out this way anyway. I'll go with this person or this thing or this company or whatever. And DeSantis has, I guess, apparently not been able to capitalize on that, because even if you take everybody else, so this poll had everybody in the equation, but even if you just asked people in this University of North Florida Public Opinion Research Lab poll, let's just say it's Trump and DeSantis. It's Trump 59, DeSantis 39. So at least he's not down 40, but he's still down 30. And it shows that DeSantis just hasn't been able to show people, yeah, you may have felt wronged and you may have got screwed, but we got to look forward, and this is the best way forward, and I'm the best way forward. Even in his home state, he hasn't been able to do that.
I mean, we can always hold out hope, Rob. It's a lifetime between now and the Iowa caucuses, so something, really strange and wacky could happen. It does happen, and how often is the presumptive front runner the actual front runner? More often than not, it seems like the guy who we think is going to win turns out not to be the winner. That's the same way, to borrow a sports analogy that you might relate to. Rarely is the team you think is going to win the Super Bowl the team that does win the Super Bowl.
Boy, that would be quite the collapse. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Abdul will be with us. He's got some interesting. He's crunched the numbers on what happened on Election Day in Marion County. He's got some really interesting info on why Hogsett won by so much, why the Republicans did so poorly, and what needs to happen next if they're going to make a difference in Marion County. Ethan's in for Casey. It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. All right, you Kendall and Casey listeners, listen up. I've got a very important number for you. 13%, in fact. Right now, you can get a 13% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $13,000 bonus right out of the gate. Not only will you get a 13% bonus, you could also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. And get this, you'll sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn more from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. Bill's our retirement guy, too. Just call 317-932-9912. This 13% bonus won't last long, so call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
A lightning strike.
Your city.
Caused a fire at an elementary school in Brownsburg.
Your state.
Trees down, power lines down, and roof damage.
2 tornadoes confirmed in southern Indiana.
17 poles were snapped during the storms, and some big lines were brought down.
Your country.
Open fire at the Allen Premium Outlet.
I wish that passing gun laws solved the problem.
America is more divided.
On air, on your smart speaker.
And we got to come together.
And WIPC.com.
At Simply Safe, our award-winning home security has advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 lifeguard protection. Only from Simply Safe. Monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Now get 50% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. The message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Binges, blackouts, regret, shame, trying and failing to drink less or quit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I know how scary drinking too much can be because I struggled with alcohol misuse for most of my adult life. But I also know that it is possible to drink less or quit. And medication can help. Naltrexone is a safe, effective medication that makes it easier to cut back or quit drinking, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. I started Or Health to make access to naltrexone convenient and private, to help people like me regain control over alcohol.
If you're ready to stop drinking or just drink less, text BEST to 323232 to get a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. Our licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it online. We'll deliver your prescription right to your door. No doctor's office visits required. Text the word BEST to 323232 to get started today. That's BEST to 323232.
It's Black Friday at B Window. Up to 52% off, plus 10% in manufacturer rebates on all products for a limited time only. Go to bwindow.com today.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
You need to figure out what kind of a show you're going to be.
So it didn't go well for the Republicans in Marion County across the board on Tuesday night, and let's find out what the data says why that might have happened. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out this week. Ethan Hatcher in for Casey. Let's go to the WIBC hotline. Joined by our old friend. He's an author. He's a broadcaster. He's the owner and operator of IndyPolitics.org, the one and only Abdul Hakim Shabazz. All right, Abdul, you got some interesting numbers. We mentioned them yesterday. It really was straight ticket voting that once again put Joe Hogsett back in the mayor's office.
Yes. I want to say when Greg Ballard ran for re-election in 2011, there were 12,000 more Democrat straight ticket voters than Republicans. Fast forward to 2023, that number was like 37,000 more straight ticket voters. And that's basically in a nutshell what did it. Now, if you take out the straight ticket voting, now, granted, we're playing a little bit of math here. If you take out the straight ticket voting, Jefferson Shreve actually wins the race by 1,300 votes. But that's like saying, the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. Well, if you take out the last three innings of the Rangers, the Diamondbacks won, which is a fair assessment. However, straight ticket voting in Marion County that's going to be the Republican challenge. There's just so many more straight ticket voters in Marion County. Straight ticket Democrat voters than there are straight ticket Republican voters.
Okay, so, Joe Elsner became Marion County party chair for the Republicans a couple years ago, and we were told, he's very close with the governor, and we've got somebody in there that knows what he's doing, and this guy will be able to raise money. It doesn't seem like Abdul, and I like Joe. He's always been very nice to me, but it doesn't seem like it's changed anything. It seems like it is just, no matter who the party chair is, no matter who the candidate is, it's just the same thing over and over again.
Well, and you can also make that same argument for Hamilton County or Hendricks or Boone. I mean, Indiana, is the counties are either very, very blue or very red. There are only like a handful of like purple counties left. You can even call it purple. I would say maybe like a burgundy or mahogany at the best. So I can't necessarily blame Joe for that. What Joe needs to do is just recruit quality candidates and try to mitigate your losses. Now, Republicans did pick up one seat because before the Democrats were 20-5, now they're 19-6. That was like down in Perry Township where a new district was drawn. But for the most part, Marion County is a very blue county. That's just the nature of the beast.
The Republicans sent out mailers for Shreve, but it just doesn't seem like there's a huge emphasis from the party on winning Marion County. Is there anything the state party can do, or is it ultimately, look, you just got to get a better guy to run?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, you're always sort of fighting the last war, so to speak. So you're looking at what happened last time, what happened with Cindy Carrasco, what happened with Chuck Brewer, what happened with our good friend Jim Merritt. And do candidates matter? Yes. Does party organization matter? However, I'm not saying that Republicans can't win in Marion County. I'm just saying it's a very, very steep climb.
Yeah, because the Shreve result, by the way, Abdul is our guest. We're talking about election results from the city of Indianapolis on Tuesday. So, Shreve's result, despite all that money he spent, was essentially the same result that Cindy Carrasco got against Ryan Mears and Joe Hogsett.
Actually, Cindy Carrasco did 1 point better.
Well, okay, very good. Yes, thank you. And Joe Hogsett, to me, seemed way more vulnerable than Ryan Mears. Maybe I'm missing that. But if you're Shreve, you got to be looking around going, where did all my money go?
Exactly. And Jefferson, I haven't had a chance to talk yet because obviously, when you lose a race, you want to take some time off to go sort of collect your thoughts and then do your post-election analysis and everything. But I think what Shreve's issue wasn't so much the money, because he had the money and he had his plan, even though I disagree with some of it. Shreve could not make that emotional connection with voters. Because Shreve was a very smart guy, very sharp businessman, and a very good analytical mind. But for lack of a better term, he's like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, really sharp, but can't necessarily make that emotional connection with the vote.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, isn't it, Abdul? People have but people have got to believe in you, the person. That's as big a part of it as your policies or anything else. People have to believe in you, the person.
Right. It's the old line when George W. Bush ran against Al Gore back in 2000. So the question was, who would you rather have a beer with?
Yeah, good point. So Abdul's our guest. Let's go out to Hamilton County. We were told, obviously, Hamilton County going blue, and this Miles Nelson guy, he might be the guy. He not only got beat, he got beat badly. And again, I think it's sort of Shreve in reverse for the Democrats. He ran a bad campaign.
He ran a bad campaign. I want to say what really did it for us was, number one, the demographics of Carmel. Carmel hasn't changed over just yet. I'll probably say, and not the next election, still 2024, but probably about 2029, you'll probably see a little bit more blue in Carmel than you do red, so to speak. But, Miles, that whole mom's celebrity and the whole Nazi thing, is like, what has that got to do with the mayor of Carmel? That's what I never understood. Like, why? I mean, I understand sort of the nationalizing elections. I get that. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's got to be believable. And the whole mom's celebrity thing and the Nazi quote, Sue denounced it. So why Miles decided to make that an issue is totally beyond me.
Yeah, local elections are about local issues. And you see in Fishers, where we were told, everybody hates the library board and these radical conservatives like Micah Beckwith, and there's going to be a bloodbath on these city council races. They went to the Republicans. Like, nothing changed by these people trying to nationalize these elections. It's still water. It's still sewer. It's still roads. It's still economic development. It's to some extent taxes. It's still the nuts and bolts things that I think the Democrats in Hamilton County blew it on that.
Yeah, so local government is just that. It's local government. Now, if you want to talk about the library board and all that, you go and all the school board issues. That's what school board elections are for. So that's where you have that debate. That's where you have that discussion. But your city council member, I mean, what do you expect them to do? Particularly when the city council has no control over the library board.
Yeah. Before we let you go, obviously we talked about a State House happenings. You got a Democrat going in Evansville. You got a Democrat going in Terre Haute. And I thought you made a good point on that. We talked about it yesterday. It's not really something to write home about. It's just the reset of the old world order. It's the way it had always been until very recently. There were some anomalies that took place. Winecki in Evansville, Duke Bennett in Terre Haute, and the order just kind of reset itself.
Exactly, because Lloyd Winnicky was a very good. He sort of that Greg Ballard mode of mayor. He could appeal to moderates and the Democrats and thoughtful independents, and he won. When he wasn't there anymore, Evansville went back. Duke Bennett was a little bit of a different story because he had some casino-related issues and a couple other things. But once again, Terre Haute, the city, even though Vigo County may be more Republican, Terre Haute is more of a Democratic city, and so basically meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
All right, are you doing any actual work for the radio station this weekend?
Actually, yes. Basically did IndyPolitics.org. We did marijuana legalization, particularly with what happened next door in Ohio. So that's what we're looking at on Indiana issues this week.
But no. Do you have a Saturday show?
No, IU football.
Oh boy, you haven't worked in a month and a half.
Well, I work. It's just not on the air. Tell that to my blood pressure.
Yeah, find it all. IndyPolitics.org, the one and only Abdullah Keeps You Boss. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you.
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
A 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. Better than paint.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
Our 25% off special has been extended through November. Plus, receive a free TV up to 75 inches just by having your job done by spring of 2024.
From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Remember, you have until the end of November to receive 25% off. Plus, get your job done by spring of 2024 and receive a free TV. Restrictions apply. Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Looking for a beautiful and functional upgrade to your home this holiday? 3-Day Blinds has you covered. But hurry, most blinds and shades ordered by December 8th can be installed by Christmas. At 3-Day Blinds, our free in-home design consultation makes it easy. A 3-Day Blinds design expert will help you find the window treatment solution that works best for your home's needs and style. We bring the showroom to you with loads of samples, giving you an idea of how different fabrics look in your home. Your designer also provides expert measurements and helps coordinate installation. Book your free in-home consultation by visiting 3dayblinds.com. You'll even find window treatments with Motorized by 3-Day Blinds. Whether you're at home or on vacation, you can operate your window treatments with the touch of a button using the 3-Day Blinds app. 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs for the holidays. But hurry, most blinds and shades ordered by December 8th can be installed by Christmas. For your free custom same-day quote, schedule your free in-home design consultation now at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
1 point, 1 swing, 1 tackle, 1 step. One trusted hospital system for orthopedic care. Franciscan Health's orthopedic, sports medicine, and rehabilitation teams offer state-of-the-art treatments, including total joint replacement, physical therapy, and the latest techniques and interventions for a variety of conditions, including arthritis and orthopedic sports-related injuries, keeping you in step, one step at a time. Find a full range of orthopedic care in one place. Go to franciscanhealth.org/orthocare.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Any concerns? I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 11:30. What's your take on President Biden seeking another term in office?
The Biden team is arguing now they think voters are going to care more about abortion than President Biden's age. The campaign manager for Biden-Harris 2024 says a year from now, Americans will face a clear choice between President Biden, who is focused on the issues impacting you, and MAGA Republicans, whose policy platform is to make things worse.
Fox's Peter Doocy. President Biden expected to meet face-to-face with Chinese President Xi Jinping next week. The two leaders will talk during an international economic meeting in San Francisco. The top Democrat in the House is warning of a possible government shutdown next week. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called on Republicans to work with Democrats to keep the government open beyond the November 17th deadline. I'm Kirk Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
When it comes to illegal immigration, there's only one true conservative running for U.S. Senate this year. That's Trump-endorsed Jim Banks. Jim Banks has a plan, and it's simple. If you're caught in this country illegally, you're sent back to where you came from. Got that? No? Okay, well, let me repeat it. When Jim Banks is the senator, his policy on illegal immigration will be as follows. If you're in the country illegally, you're going back to where you came from. Mi casa is no longer tu casa, my friends. Jim Banks, Army veteran, Trump endorsed. A simple plan for dealing with illegal immigration. Jim Banks for U.S. Senate. American Leadership PAC is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americanleadershippac.org.
Don't want the worry of maintaining your furnace or air conditioner? Join B&W's Premier Club today.
Go to B+W.com. B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
About 30,000 pounds of banana.
I've just started sending Kevin
just about 30,000
hundreds of Harry Chapin clips off YouTube.
Yeah, it's becoming the soundtrack to my life. Thank
Harry
you.
Chapin's good for that.
Yeah, if you ever want to gouge your eyes out with your fingernails, it's Harry Chapin's the guy for you. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Ethan's in for Casey today. Don't forget, you'd hear Ethan every Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Saturday night on The Circle here on 93 WIBC. Ethan, I have great news.
Excellent.
I know you have thought about this for a long time, and it has been at the forefront of your thoughts and your prayers. The actor strike. It appears it's over.
Oh, good, Rob. I was just following that with rapt attention and intense fascination.
Yes, it went on for 118 days.
Not long
enough. And it appears that is it, according to Variety. We're going to have Brian Baker on tomorrow to discuss this. Have you missed not having your regularly scheduled television programming?
No, not at all. In fact, I think that the strike hasn't gone on long enough. I wish these bozos would have stayed out of Hollywood for another few months and then really nailed home to the executives that we are tired of the woke rewrite of so many of our favorite franchises. Did you see the South Park parody that aired right at the end of October, joining the Panderverse?
Yes, I did. Disney.
Beautiful.
Was that the one with Disney?
Uh-huh.
And, yes.
Kathleen Kennedy, put a chick in it and make her gay and lame.
Well, yeah. So this will be the kind. And I'll ask this to Brian tomorrow because Brian's going to join us. Obviously, he works on a variety of acting gigs there in now in Georgia, doing stunts, etc. for films, for television shows. There seems to be a lack of understanding with the Hollywood community. We'll call them that for lack of a better term. I realize many of them are not in Hollywood anymore. On how little they're actually needed in society anymore because of the vast array of entertainment options that people currently have.
We've got a century of backlog material. We can entertain ourselves for eons.
Yeah, and there was a time where you would say, "Oh my gosh," let's say it's the 1980s, and this would have happened. "Oh my gosh, Cheers won't be on this Sunday. That's going to be horrible." Or, "Oh my gosh, I won't be able to see Alex P. Keaton in Family Ties," or whatever. There was a time when people had a consolidated area of which they could grab entertainment options that people would have been probably up in arms. But now it's like, well, I have podcasting and I have old videos and on-demand programming. And it's like, Oh, okay, you're not back. Well, that's good luck.
Well, the Hollywood executives have nobody to blame but themselves because they have essentially killed episodic television through streaming services. No longer do you have that community gathering behind the one program like Cheers or Breaking Bad or what have you, where you follow it week by week and wait for the episodic releases. Now everything's dumped on a streaming service, the whole season in one day, and you binge it in a week, and then the whole thing is spoiled, and it takes away the specialness of what some of those programs were.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit this. Did you know that Barrett News Media did a big article on
I saw that. I didn't get to read it. Tell me more.
Well, and I hate to talk about myself here, but I will. But I was talking with Ryan Hedrick when he put that together, and we were talking about the challenges that radio is facing and why WIBC continues to do much better than the industry collectively as a whole, because we target local. And we target things that people can't get anywhere else. Like, we have conversations on this program every single day that there's nowhere else you're going to get these sorts of conversations. Now, there are certainly, like any other programming, some people who are just totally disinterested in that, and we're never going to get those people. But if you desire local content and talk, we're talking about things in Carmel, and we're talking about things in Brownsburg, and we're talking about things in Greenwood and Greenfield and Fishers and certainly Indianapolis and Terre Haute and Evansville. You're not able to get that anywhere else. So not to say we are immune from the challenges that the radio industry has faced, but we have been able, and it's why we're by market share one of the most listened to talk stations in America, we've been able to at least push back against that because we give people things they can't get anywhere else. It's why some local newspapers continue to do okay, despite the fact that the news industry, the newspaper industry, for your big paper certainly is in a death spiral. But if you're a great county paper and you're covering things that people won't or can't get anywhere else, then you've still got a fighter's chance to, or puncher's chance to survive. The TV industry or the movie industry, but primarily obviously the TV industry, has not done that well. They are not giving people things that they just simply can't get anywhere else, and people have found other venues to acquire entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, a prime example of not giving the audience what they want. Tomorrow's release, I believe it is, of The Marvels, the latest installment.
Are
from
you a
Disney.
Marvel person?
Used to be, but see, Disney has ruined that. Like many of these Hollywood executives have gone seemingly franchise by franchise and ruined some of the things that we love, whether it's Indiana Jones or Doctor Who or Star Wars, and the list goes on. So much of this has been ruined by woke politics and the overhaul by these Hollywood liberals and leftists. I was disappointed to see the strike end. I think it needed to continue because we needed a reversal from this trend.
All right, it's the Kendall Casey show. Ethan's in for Casey today. I'm going to read you part of this headline from Market Watch, Ethan. Housing affordability hits a 39-year low.
Uh-oh.
And then the little description here. The monthly principal and interest payment of a median-priced house just surpassed $2,500 for the first time, a new record. And we talked with Mark Dietl earlier this week, a realtor who buys and sells homes for people all across central Indiana. And we were talking about what a wild time it is in the market where interest rates have skyrocketed, yet it appears housing prices are still reaching or at or near record levels, in part because inventory is so hard to get. You're in this industry to some extent. You're not actively buying and selling homes, but you do buy property. You are the real estate king of the East Side.
Right.
And you do buy properties and then rent them to people. What are you finding right now?
I am finding that, I mean, fortunately, I got my mortgages before the interest rates raised precipitously.
Yeah.
So I have.
But you have people renting from you, and usually, not always the case, certainly, but many times, and I could say this as a person who's been both a home buyer and renter throughout my life, renting is because you're not desiring, for whatever reason it may be, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's not, you're not desiring to be in the home ownership business. So, like, what do you kind of hear from your renters? Is it a cost prohibitive thing?
Yeah, no, many people would love to be homeowners, but it is so cost prohibitive to get into the market. And I mean, look, to a certain extent, that's just reality. If you don't have 10 to 20% to put down on a house, you probably don't have any business buying the house. And that was a big problem that we saw in the housing crisis of 2008 was the subprime mortgages, where you're loaning this money to people who don't have any ability to pay the bills, and you're not doing them any favors. So in that respect, keeping things rental in rentals is more financially stable. It also allows renters more mobility, whereas if you're tied to a house, you're literally tied to the locale, the community, whereas renting, you can just move with a job.
Yeah. So according to Market Watch, U.S. housing market is at its least affordable since 1984. And again, the average, when you put taxes, insurance, homeowners association fees, the average mortgage is now look, prices in San Francisco going to be higher than they are in Indianapolis. But if you take the country as a collective, $2,500 is the average, or surpassed $2,500. That's
84. You said.
Yes.
I thought things were hopping during the Reagan administration. That's like dead in the middle. He won handily re-election. So were things sucking? They could not that bad.
I think if you look at the statistical trend of the Reagan administration, things got pretty bad in the beginning and then started getting markedly better as he marched towards re-election. And he ran some nice ads. And American people believed in that. And I think the second term they continued to get better. But the early 80s, of which Reagan was the president, were pretty bleak. We did the math on this. I try to do it every so often because interest rates fascinate me. The same house that I have right now, if I tried to buy this house today, so same everything, same down payment, same price, same everything, would cost me $600 more a month if I bought that house today than when I bought it a year and a half ago. We're not talking like I bought something in the mid-90s. We're saying in a year and a half, just based solely on the economy and the interest rates, I would be paying $600 more a month for the exact same. That's like an unsustainable thing.
So would
people.
that financially preclude you from being a homeowner if you had to make those same decisions today?
You know, Ethan, I'm a very wealthy radio broadcaster, so money is of no object to me. And in fact,
more importantly, you're extremely frugal. You're a penny pincher made manifest into a single person.
Well, look, I work a second job at the golf course, and I do that one because I love golf, and it's climate controlled, no heavy lifting, and they, for the work I do, threw a ridiculous amount of money at me to go do that. But a big part of the reason I did that is not because we need that money to pay our bills each day, but this economy is so unpredictable, and you can't count on the government for anything, any sort of stability or ability to chart a path. So, yeah, I go work a second job just because this world is so damn unstable that you got to squirrel as much away as you possibly can.
Well, I also assume you have a retirement plan.
Oh, well, no, Ethan, I chose a career in radio. I'll be dying right here in the WIBC studio. In fact, I'll just go face down one day as I go to a break, which we're going to do right now. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Of mashed bananas.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, what's the point of a debate without Trump? But is a debate with Trump coming? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. The temperatures are dropping rapidly and energy costs are on the rise. If you have old, drafty windows, your furnace is working harder than ever to keep your family warm. Why pay unnecessarily high energy bills when Window Nation can help keep you and your family warm all season long, all while lowering your monthly energy costs by up to 30%.
And this month only, Window Nation is offering 0% interest for 5 years. That's 60 months interest free. And get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Now is the time to protect your family from the elements, lower your energy costs, and upgrade the look and feel of your home. Get 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Offer only good this month. Call Window Nation right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword info 42 to 866-482-9559. That's info 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I am so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or text healthy to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
This Christmas, 5,000 children in central Indiana are depending on Angel Tree to put gifts under their Christmas tree. We need your help to make this happen, so we're making it easy to participate right from home. Angels can be sponsored online by visiting the Salvation Army Central Indiana website. Choose your angel, buy their gifts, and return them to the Salvation Army by December 2nd. Learn more at salvationarmyindiana.org/angeltree.
Pacer fans, are you revved up? TJ McConnell with the steal and the basket.
Yeah, he brings the energy.
The NBA season just tipped off, but the energy level is over the roof at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Halliburton again. Got him wide open. That Kemp wasn't going to get there.
One of the biggest matchups of the year is Thursday when the Pacers battle the Milwaukee Bucks. Tickets are going fast. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. That's Pacers.com. Pacers Bucks, Thursday at 7.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%
Hammer and Nigel,
Biden.
Podcasts. Listen to the station live whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
17, caught in between what I was and what I wanted to be. I was listening to
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Ethan Hatcher from Saturday Night on the Circle, guest hosting. Great job today.
Man, I'm so happy to be here, Rob. Thanks for asking me in.
You exceeded all expectations, as you always do. But I did, in the moments we have left here today, I did want to ask you a question because you you not only are a Marion County resident, you also own a lot of property in Marion County.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot of property, but I own a modest plot.
I mean,
Let's
you're basically the real estate king of the east side of Indianapolis.
The east side of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll use that qualifier.
So I'm curious, from your perspective, you see the election results, and I know on your program and you have on other parts of this radio station talked about, hey, you couldn't vote for Shreve because the guy is a zero, and I think that was a good.
Yeah.
I think that was the correct approach. You can't reward the bad behavior, but in light of the fact that the default is Hogsett and he wins easily, are you worried about putting your financial future in essentially Joe Hogsett in the city of Indianapolis's hands for 4 more years?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm immensely concerned. In the words of Joe Biden, get ready, Bal, you're going to in for a problem, because Joe Hogsett has outlined his full intent to inundate the city of Indianapolis with things like high-density urban housing, which have already been proven failures in things like the city of New York. The projects are failing structures. That's not the way to expand your residential zone, but Joe Hogsett is married to that idea. And worse yet, we elected elected the first openly avowed democratic socialist, a Karl Marx-loving communist, to the city council, Jesse Brown in Irvington. Look, I didn't vote for him. I voted for Libby Glass.
Yeah, and a libertarian.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Libby's mom because she's just a real sweetheart. And I said, look, at least somebody ran. But how pathetic is that? The Republicans couldn't even field a candidate against
You
this
know
guy.
what? I'm going to give the Republicans a pass on this one. As a resident of Irvington, I understand the residents of the community. And if you wanted to watch money get flushed down a toilet, then run a campaign in that community.
Yeah.
It's like a college town minus the college. You got all of the university flair, the little slogans, the coexist bumper stickers, the rainbow flags, the Black Lives Matter, the yada, yada, yada. It's, very stereotypical. And the results are as expected.
I was talking with a buddy the other day. He works in state government, really good dude. And we were talking about,
is this your anonymous friend?
Yes, my birdie who gives me a lot of stuff. And we will never name this person for fear of immense retribution if somebody found out that we were that good of friends. What moves people now? Because I watch these election results all across the state, and I maintain it is the candidate more than anything else that moves people. Because I'm not sure the idea of taxes or wasteful government spending, I'm not sure that really registers with people anymore. Is it now? Are we in a candidate-only world?
Yeah, I think personality really matters, and Jefferson Shreve certainly was a pusillanimous, spineless little weasel.
He was a what?
He was cowardly. He was
Oh,
pusillanimous, spineless little weasel on the campaign trail. It was absolutely ridiculous. I keep circling back to this moment because I was screaming at the television. I think you and I talked about it when he paused mid-sentence during his thought because the dinger went off, and the moderators had to give him permission to finish his thoughts. Yes, Jefferson, you can get to the end of the sentence. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it is we have uninspiring. We talked with Tony Kinnett earlier in the show about this. Whether it's Jefferson Shreve running for mayor or look at these people running for governor, there's just a bunch of very uninspiring people. And I think a lot of the down ballot, your city council candidates or your town council candidates in various municipalities, they're just, it's like at Brownsburg where I live. The Republican lost. Now, I think it's a couple things. I think it's the governance of the 5 Republicans has been so bad that people are like, we're just done with you guys. But it's also the guy didn't work very hard and he didn't really offer a vision. And if people are like, if you're not going to work for this, if you're not going to give us something to go on, then what does it matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican? And all the Democrat people showed up, and now Brownsburg has been run so poorly, they finally, for the first time ever, have a Democrat on the town council. You got to give people something to believe in.
Yeah, no, Republicans need to get their crap together. Get your crap together. Put it in a box. Just put it in a box and get your crap together. Get it together.
What is your game plan? Are you like, dude, I'm just stuck being the real estate king of the East Side?
Well, Rob. The houses can't move. I can't transplant the houses. They are physically located in Marion County, so unless I want to sell my empire
that's what I'm
and
asking.
move elsewhere, I can't do that right now. So I am married to the community. Yeah. Whatever leadership there is, I'm stuck with it, and I have to endure the Hogshead administration or fall into bankruptcy, which may come first.
Yeah, this is I learned this lesson the hard way in my 20s, Ethan, because I had an internet-based business that was gangbusters, and then I made the egregious mistake of taking those profits and buying a radio station that had property with it, and you're in the position that I was for years. It sucks to be tied to something that you can't untie yourself from. And thankfully, years later, I was able to come up with a business plan to untie myself from that. But it sucks, man, to be totally wed to something when you're beholden to really terrible governance.
Look, Rob, I console myself that despite how incompetent the leadership of the city of Indianapolis is and how woefully inadequate the state leadership is in the General Assembly from the Republican Party, and in spite of all that woeful incompetence, we're still relatively better than most other states in the area. So there you go.
Okay, Ethan Hatcher in for Casey today. So let me ask you this, because we started the show with the debates. We talked about it, intermittently throughout the show. Has a debate ever swayed your vote? Have you ever watched someone debate and gone, oh, boy, I was going for Fred, but Tom was so magnanimous, I'm with Tom now?
Yes.
Really?
It doesn't happen often.
Wow.
But from time to time it does. And the most recent example was the first Republican debate of this primary cycle when Vivek Ramaswamy strolled out on that stage and started talking about nuclear energy and cutting taxes and individual responsibility. And he's hitting all the notes. We talked about it earlier in the debates. I loved his performance. I thought he won this one.
Yes.
Vivek Ramaswamy before, I thought he was kind of a cringe. He was kind of a loser, kind of an oddball, going and rapping with the Eminem over at the state fair there in Iowa.
Yeah.
Thought that was ridiculous. And then he strolls out on the debate stage, and my God, this guy makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it bother you that he's void of, and I agree with you. I thought the first clip we played today was him roasting the Republican Party and Ronna McDaniel. But
he got a few good owns throughout the debate. It was a good performance. I was laughing along with him, man.
Doesn't it bother you, though, that he's mostly void of specifics on anything?
They're politicians, and how specific can you get in a short amount of time, Rob? Like he's hitting all the right points, and that's all you can ask.
So are you with him?
Yeah, I wish, like DeSantis, I wished he would have turned his energy up by about 35%.
Yeah, right.
And his debate performance would have been a lot better because he was so deadpan. Even when he was responding to other, people on the debate stage like Nikki Haley, it's like he didn't have any conviction for his own beliefs. And I agreed with what he was saying.
Yeah.
So I liked Vivek's points. I liked his presentation. And if DeSantis starts giving off some of that energy, maybe I'll return to the DeSantis camp.
All right, well, we'll leave it there with that. Good job today. By the way, what's coming up this Saturday night for Saturday Night on the Circle?
We will be talking about the debates. We will be talking about the fallout from the elections and, of course, playing the finest clips of stupidity selected from politics for your entertainment and enlightenment.
You do a great job with the audio. I got to say, I'm very proud of you. I've seen you come a very long way. Ethan Hatcher, Saturday Night on the Circle. Great job today. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Great job to you, Kevin, as always, as well. Thanks to you, the listener. Without you, there is no us. And we invite you to stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. It's Kendall and Casey, 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. We recently saved a 50-year-old couple over $300 per month when compared to their old individual plan. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 per month when compared to their quote on healthcare.gov. We are now entering the crazy enrollment season when our federal government will spend millions telling us that healthcare.gov is our only good option for quality health care. Whether it's called healthcare.gov, Affordable Care Act, or it's still Obamacare, don't let the federal government or their big insurance company cronies tell you that you don't have a choice. Give us a call at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. Quoting the great Dr. Duke Tomato, Lord, please help our Colts. And as always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
13%. Right now, you can get a 13% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $13,000 bonus right out of the gate. Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. Not only will you get a 13% bonus, you could also get a competitive return, an average of 7% a year for the past 10 years. And don't forget about the 13% bonus.
And look, you'll sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Learn more from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. He's my retirement guy. Let him be your retirement guy. Just call 317-648-5120. That's 648-5120. This 13% bonus won't last long. 648-5120. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. Past performance is no guarantee of future returns.
Every dollar matters when it comes to Medicare coverage. When you enroll with MDY's Medicare, our low-cost plans give you access to over 27,000 in-network providers. $0 primary care copay with no deductibles, plus a generous OTC allowance. Call 833-248-3906 or go to mdwise.org/MDY's Medicare. Enroll by December 7th. MDY's Medicare is an HMO/HMO POS with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in MDY's Medicare depends on contract renewal.
Hey, you're up next. My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool drops.
Yeah,
Vicks Vapo Cool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks Vapo Cool Drops.
Discover how to save more of your hard-earned money. Listen to WIBC this Saturday from 5 to 6 a.m. for secure retirement tips from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. This Saturday, 5 to 6 a.m. on WIBC.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
These airstrikes were retaliation.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Crooked Joe Biden's banana republic ends.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Fired upon, so now they fire.
It's mostly sunny and 53 degrees in the Circle City. The high today, 67. It gets cooler tomorrow. I'm Ryan Hedrick.
And I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. The United States has attacked a weapons facility in Syria that is supported by Iran. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
These airstrikes were retaliation for a series of drone attacks on U.S. military facilities in the Middle East. 2 F-15 fighter jets targeted a weapons storage facility in